Hello.
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 And welcome everybody to Modeler's Corner. Thank you for joining us once again here. And today, this episode is now entitled Engage One. And the reason why we have this title is because we have some special guests coming along. Now, unfortunately, one of them can't attend right now because he's running a bit late, but I'm sure he'll join us very shortly. So, in the meantime, let me introduce you to who we have in our chat line. We have the great Tom Biddle.
Hello.
We have Mr. Gavin Rose.
Greetings.
And joining us here is Mr. Thomas Jensky.
Hello.
There he is. Now, for those who don't know Tom, he's part of the Thomas merch, or he's known as Tom Props on Twitter.
Hello.
And he's also currently, as you can see on camera here, he's currently making a replica of the TV series model of Thomas. And it looks very nice indeed. So, if you want to stick around for the next 2 hours or so, we'll probably be talking about various things, just social talk about modeling and so forth. Tom might provide some info about how maybe some of the models on the TV series were made, and again, as usual, as before, me, Tom, and Gavin will probably just be talking our usual banter and progressing on current tasks that we're doing in our modeling desks. So, as I already stated here, Tom's going to be working on his Gauge 1 model of Thomas. I'm going to be working on a prop for Brass Line Engines, which is I'm going to be making up the Station Master's house for the Thomas.
Lovely.
So I'm using this image from Toby Trucks in Trouble for reference, just to get ideas what the appearance is going to be looking like. And Tom, what are you going to be working on?
What, me? Which Tom?
Oh, Tom Biddle.
Okay.
Well, I was going to do the Annie coach, but as usual, I found the pieces I was missing last time, but I've used up all my solder. So what I thought I'd do in the meantime was I'd show you guys how to make your own resin, make your own silicone molds, and then resin castings.
That's cool. And Gavin, what are you going to be working on in your bench?
Several things, mainly this at the moment, which is recently released Audrey style Percy body made with the new type of chassis that's going to fit. Already got the motor made, the gearbox, and it might be painting this or might be painting that. So
awesome. So let us start the Modeler's Corner. Now let's just first of all check and see what's happening on the chat there.
Hi, Max Hobbies.
Okay, hello Max, how's it going? So haven't really got much viewers on at the minute here. There's about 9 watching, so I'm sure more will come along pretty soon. So yeah, how's everybody's week's been?
Yeah, not bad. How's your week been?
Usual. Can't complain. Just
done much modeling?
No, not a lot really. I mean, I started work on making one of the Scottish twins, but I'm currently waiting on some parts to arrive from Kaylee's coaches. So once they arrive here, I can actually start work on getting them made up. But I've got like part of the body work just slowly underway. So once I get those parts arrived, it'll be good. Oh yeah. Also, I just want to point out here to viewers who are just joining us in the stream here. Like last time here, there might be some accidental swearing that might come from either one of us here. So just to let you guys in advance, if there's any younger viewers who are under 15 or 13, it's best maybe you don't watch this video until you're a bit older. But if you're sticking around, well, you've been warned.
Yeah.
But also here, just want to.
We don't want to get on the bad terms of
No.
Everyone's parents here, basically. So.
No. So let's see. Also, I just want to point out here is that we also got our as well as in Models Corner. It's also important to keep ourselves quenched and fed during the whole stream. So we have our own little beverages to keep us going. So I've got a Tesco's fruit and chocolate nut mix type thing, just to keep me going because I like those, and also a bottle of Magner's Irish cider, which is the dark fruit version, which just came out not that long ago. So I've tried it and it's very nice here. So what do you guys got? You guys got any beverages?
Earl Grey jasmine mixed with hoji cha, which is like a smoked green tea.
Ooh,
that album mix because I just have it loose.
All right,
good stuff.
Water.
You got water.
Well, because I I'm doing an exhibition tomorrow, so I can't be up. And Coke keeps me up, keeps me awake all night. So unfortunately, I can't get on the hype. So I'm going to be what's it, sugar sober, basically.
Yeah, no worries. I'll put
Well,
that.
unfortunately, I'll be drinking Coke.
Oh, you lucky. Ugh.
That's not Coke. That's Pepsi.
Pepsi. Sorry, close enough. But
Close enough.
anyway, I'll be up all night probably.
No, well, like I said, like it'll be a while. Like we'll be hanging around for about roughly, 2 hours or so.
I like how we've got but two two angry-looking engines on our work desks.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Tom here. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got the Angry 4F. You best be watching the stream.
Maybe I'll do something different then.
Oh,
Well,
If anybody
Really, I
falls
know.
asleep watching me do this, I apologise, but before I can really get into any proper modelling, I'll have to get this chassis prepared so the bits fit in properly. And
Yeah.
as it's 3D printed, you get a very, very slight shrinkage rate, which means you have to sort of file a little bit. But once that's done, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, guys. I mean, I know that quite a few of you quite like the idea of watching people make stuff from brass. I would like to have done that, but unfortunately, because I've run out of solder, I can't really put anything together. So, but I will be after I've done these resin molds. I'll probably be cleaning Thomas, because he will be featuring along with the Claro coach, along with my LBSC E1. There will be featuring at the Reading show tomorrow at the Rivermead Leisure Centre.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody anyone from London or in the whole Berkshire is thinking of going down to the Yoga show, I might see you down there.
Mhm.
Awesome.
So it's Saturday and Sunday, is it?
I think it's just Saturday, but
Ah, okay.
so it's the Yoga skill. So it's so basically it's just it's just stalls, so you can watch layouts go past, or you can go you can buy stuff from manufacturers, that kind of things. Like Slaters will be there, connoisseur models, Ace products, etc. etc.
Tempting, but I ain't got the money. It's like going into a sweet shop, going to a model show.
Yeah,
Just spend all your money.
it's amazing because you go there and you talk to people and everyone knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. Right. Let's see now. How should I start this off?
Okay, in case anybody in the future is interested in building one of my own resin chassis kits, this is going to be the new generation. Because as you can see, it's not fixed axle. You can build it fixed axle, but it has these bits that slide in and out. And basically that, if just see what you think. A little bit of prep work with these bits, but once they're in, the whole thing builds together a lot quicker and easier, and it runs better.
Yeah.
Well, I feel perhaps I should explain what I'll be doing to start off. Is not anything particularly fancy, but I don't know how well this camera focuses in on this. But these buffers here, 10mm buffers, they're the same ones that they used on the show originally. Thomas.
10mm.
10mm, yep. And so I'm just making them up. It's nothing too fancy. It's just a case of cleaning up all the parts and clicking them together. But of course, when you've got 4 buffers per wagon to make, you end up going through a lot of buffers.
Yeah.
So it's just a case of catching up.
Right, I'm just actually thinking now, maybe I should have actually built a building or something for me to use as a reference for this project. But maybe I might maybe I'll just make it up as I go along. Really.
Okay, guys. I'm about to we'll start with the resin, or
Yeah, sure. You go ahead. I'll leave the camera on you here for a bit here.
what I usually should. Well, basically, here's stuff I made earlier. Now these are the coach seats that go inside my O-gauge stock.
Oh, lovely. Are they made out of resin, are they?
Yeah. Basically, I bought a load of chairs that were for different gauge. So for 0.15, 0.16.
All right.
So what I did was basically the ones I put in Cloudbout, I put they weren't the right length, so I put 2 together, 2 sets, and just cut off the excess so they would slot inside the carriage. And then I just made that. And then let's have a look. Here's the master copy.
Oh yeah.
And then what I did was I just made a silicone mold and just made multiple copies and yeah, made a coach. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you how I do it. You really should, as it's explained in videos, you should have a measure as a scale or something. But because I've done this for quite a while, I kind of have my own way of doing it. So, and because I haven't got any baked bean tins, so I'll be doing it in a pot noodle cup.
As you do.
As you do.
No expense spared.
So now when you get resin, you usually get it in liquid resin, you get it in 2 parts. What I think is most important is although you should ideally have it so that it's an equal amount of each one, of each product. I tend to put part A, which is usually this quite cloudy looking, quite thick white looking one. Am I explaining it right? I feel like I'm just babbling.
No, explain it all fine here, because I mean, I'll probably be needing this info later on.
I tend to put more of this one in because it's the one that kind of hardens it more. That's how I
Just done a little shameless plug. Had to do it.
then,
Stupid not to.
and then I put part B in. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
Right. And I'll just put a little tiny drop of part A again, which is the wider one.
So do you actually you just guess the amounts really?
Well, ideally you should measure it, but because I've done it for quite a while, I have my own way of estimating it.
You get the ratios on the packets, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
But it is true. I mean, I've encountered some molds before where you really want it to be a very soft mold when you take the item out, and then you've got other more rigid objects that you want to be absolutely dead straight, and you might want to put a bit more hardener in it. So although the packet says 50-50 exactly, it's sometimes I have learnt that you might want to vary it depending on whether you want a mold that's very solid or a mold that's very easy to pliable to use.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, that's the best way of putting it. Yeah, not my bad. So I put so obviously stir it for at least about, make sure you get the whole thing, about 30 to 40 seconds, and you should feel it getting hotter if you're using a pot noodle thing. And what I tend to do before I put it into my mold, I tend to dab a little bit of it in all the fine detail sections. Just to kind of like, sometimes when you pour the resin in, it doesn't fill in all the crevices. And as you pour it, and so as I pour it in, as I slowly pour it in, I squeeze it every now and again to get all the air bubbles.
right.
And what's always important is, if you're going to do resin making of something in particular, it's always important to have an extra mold with you, so you're not wasting all the resin.
Yeah.
Because you will find as you make these, you will find you have a lot of excess resin. So if you've got a face mold handy,
yeah, that's why I've got about 1 million Thomas faces.
Yeah.
Or smiley faces anyway. If anyone wants one, just message me.
Oh, I love them. This is the face that Nick made me.
And for a moment, I thought you were talking about making a mold. I was referring to mold making when it was when I meant about splitting it.
Oh yeah, sorry, yes. I will do that at some point tonight. Just I'm doing it in order for I'm doing it resin first, so I'll make the mold itself. So yeah, right. It's always best to just double check you. And sometimes it's no explain. I often find it's best to have most of the hardening part in the resin because that way. And also, don't worry if it gets. Sorry, it's lagging.
It's all right. Take your time.
Actually, sometimes it does take a while to it kind of it does dry differently compared to how much you put in. So basically, if it does seem a bit soft at first, it will harden a lot more eventually. Now, the third mold is the face that the Toad closed eye face that Diesel 10 TV made for me.
All right.
On Shapeways. So
Toad face.
Yeah. The one that's used in Busy Going Backwards.
Yeah, I remember when I actually quite liked that. Was one of my favorite episodes from series 5.
Series 5 was wonderful.
Yeah, I often thought like series 5 had like something of there was a lot of like messages, maybe of something like hidden messages that maybe I don't know if people notice them or not though. So
Boulder.
Yeah, like boulders. It's like don't damage the environment in some ways, like the dangers of what consequences of changing the landscape or interfering with your environment.
You can see where David Mitton and Britt Allcroft collaborated here, because I'm sure Britt Allcroft did the environment part, and David Mitton said, "Oh, it has to be more exciting. We need to have a boulder that explodes and blows up a shed and goes on a rampage."
Yeah. Somebody just asked, leave a message here. That one fuzzy guy, Whitest Films, what wheels do you plan on using for that O-gauge E2 Tom Sting engine? I'm not making an O-gauge one. Tom Biddle, who's I have on screen right now. He's the one who's making the O-gauge Thomas.
What's the question? Sorry.
It says here, what wheels do you plan on using for that O-gauge E2 Thomas?
Well, I've already got a set of wheels that I'm planning on using. Only thing is, they're not like ones I've seen before, so I'm trying to establish whether or not it's worth me using them or getting another set of stators. So I will show you. Because funny enough, once this resin's dry, I have got to get Thomas prepared for the exhibition. So I will be putting the chassis on. It won't be working, but it will be on display. So here we are. I've got the set of wheels here.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
And it's painted the same colour that Gav's painted his Thomas.
I'm just going to wait before I do anything else. I'm going to wait until it's sort of my turn, if you like. Then I'm going to show people stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm still trying to debate which blue to... I mean, even now, I'm still trying to debate which blue to paint in, because I'm worried about... I quite like to have that nice Series 1 look, in a way. Or maybe the Magic Railroad. No, but we're still...
Well, there's a question I would actually like to ask you. Is like, what shade is... What kind of shade of blue is the Magic Railroad Thomas exactly?
No one knows. I'd love to know who
came up with that palette, because I mean, it looks nice. So it has it has a slightly hint of like purple to it or indigo.
But I could be wrong. I have a feeling. I know for Series 6 anyway, they did them back in gloss colors, and then they were told, "Oh no, we want them to be matte again." So they then had to put matte varnish on it. So I'm not sure whether or not putting matte varnish on it might have changed the aesthetic a little bit in terms of color, as well as the obviously the finish.
I think maybe the reason why they made them matte was probably because some of the equipment could be seen in the paintwork.
Yeah, exactly. There was a few episodes in Series 5 where that particularly badly happened.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, what was the episode? Was it Gordon?
A better view for Gordon, I think.
That's it.
One. Yeah.
But also because I think it would have been quite hard to make them look realistic for the full scale models of Thomas, because of course in the film the large scale prop of Thomas looks like he's made out of, I don't know, plywood and stuff.
Yeah.
Just got a question from GW Shunter. Have any of you scaled up down pieces for models to match another scale? How difficult is it to gauge the size you want the new part to be?
Right. Well, I can relate to this question because in Branch Engines, I do have to upscale something in the film, and it does. To be honest, it did take quite a bit of time to try and sort that out, though. But it was, yeah. Well, I've got one of them scaled up to the scale I needed for the film, but there's still a couple of more that I need to get scaled up as well. But yeah, I think more or less how I did it was just more or less through like just guessing what I thought worked best, or No, in fact, no. I tell a lie. Actually, no. What I did is I actually printed out like side plans, or like I actually printed out scale drawings of what I needed, and then just used them, just measured from them, and just made the scale I wanted to from them.
I a couple of years ago, I did a I tried to resize the Batman Gordon gauge. Now, what you do for 00 to O gauge is you scale, you measure the size of the. For example, I did the tender. You measure each side, so you times it by, and then you times it by 1.74 centimeters, and then what I then do is I draw the shape out on a piece of grid paper or square paper, and then just color in, and then yeah. If it's slightly off, then just alter it, and yeah.
Well, my method is a bit different. I mean, I use CAD sometimes, but if you consider that, shall we say, a 00 model is 1 in 76 scale, so the 4 times 1 is 76 times more than the size of the model. So if you scale up the model, just put the mathematics in and just say 76 times what the model is, and then divide it by whatever scale you want to reduce it to. So if you want it to go up to gauge 1, which is 1 in 32 scale, it would be a case of getting the measurement of the 00 model, times it by 76, and then divide it by 32, shall we say. That's how I do it, but I mean, equally, you can do a 3D CAD model and just resize it.
I sort of do the same thing. I mean, if you want to go up a scale, for example, 4mm to 7mm, take a measurement from the model, say the width of it, take that, divide it by 4 times by 7. That's an easy way of doing it.
All right.
If you're going upwards, if you're going down, it's a little bit more complex, but not much.
Right. So your measurement's very different to mine then, or is it? Because I times the measurement by 1.74.
1.75 maybe.
Well, yeah. Either way.
There's different ways of doing it, as long as you get the same result.
All right, Tom Jensky, I got a question from the one fuzzy guy. Can you ask Tom, are those wheels from the Bachmann G-Scale, Thomas, or the Marklin wheels?
Oh, no, they're Marklin. I mean, the Bachmann ones I think are a bit too big because obviously G-Scale and all that.
Yeah, because the Bachmann Thomases are actually gauge 3.
Yeah, I've got one, a spare one, which I will end up using, of course. But I probably should put some more light on that. Yeah, Marklin wheels from a Marklin engine, a BR55 to be precise, which is an 080 tender engine. And yeah, so that hopefully that answers that. But,
fair enough. We spoke about this last night. I've actually got an N-gauge version of that loco, I think.
Oh yeah. Well, wait 1 minute. My one's in bits at the moment, but this is.
So there's Tom's, and then there's the gauge 1 version.
Big what? Wow. I wish they'd make that stuff in O-gauge. That would just.
Yeah, it's either too big or too small, isn't it?
Yeah.
You need one of those sort of shrinking things, like what was it they have in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Oh, the Wonka vision, the Wonka television shrink thing. I forgot what you call it though. So, right, we got another question here from Lego Spaceman. What is your opinion on the new cool props, Thomas? And do you think it's accurate enough to the TV series, or do you think it has faults? What's your opinions on it?
How long have we got?
Well, we've got 2 hours, so.
Oh, right. Well, I don't want to fill up all the airtime. No, I think it's excellent. I mean, I don't know. There might be 1 or 2 things that bug me a tiny bit, but that's just because I'm a perfectionist. Obviously, Thomas, they've made numerous props of him over the years. The first one was plastic, then they were made out of brass. And so, yeah, where all the parts came from did vary over the years. But yeah, I think on the whole, it's a really good model. They've obviously spent time and copied the one that's in Japan as closely as they can. The only disadvantage with it is it doesn't have an iMech or a motor in it. And I think my biggest criticism are the side rods, to be honest, which are cast from resin. I think it's a shame they couldn't have got a whole sheet of them cast up in and etched with brass, which would make them a lot stronger as well, and they'd look
That's
a lot.
pretty disappointing to hear the resin.
Yeah, it's the one thing I would have done out of brass, and also the little lamp irons, which you can buy really cheaply. They're a company that does parts for ships. They make these little handrails. I don't know, I forgot them. They call them Aeronaut. And wait a minute, let's see if I've got a spare one. But you know, it's probably saved them a long time if they were rather than casting them all up in big bulk. They could probably just get a bulk order of the parts that they used originally.
Yeah.
But,
well, I guess it's more challenge for the next modeler. You know, the one who does the next. I'd love to see someone actually buy the prop and then actually what they do with it. You know, in terms of modeling.
Well, I wouldn't recommend buying it and just to convert it, because I think it's a work of art. It's designed to be a static piece. I mean, that's probably what the license with Cool Props is, that it has to be a static display piece and not a working model.
Well,
I know.
Well, it does say though the wheels on it do move and like the eyes move but
They're not powered.
Yeah, they're not powered, but they're just like, I think there's like when you take the face off, there's like a certain lever or something that allows you to position them.
Yeah. They did the same thing with Captain Scarlet a couple of years ago, actually.
Yeah.
Well, these are the lamp irons that they used originally. They also used them on the Tugs, believe it or not.
Oh.
Things made by a company called Aeronaut. You can see the part number, and I don't know how well you can see them.
Don't think we can see it, but the part number. Would you mind reading it out there?
I don't know if that's any better. Wait a minute. Part number is 5602-25.
Okay.
It's German, I believe. But these little things here, they sort of cut them down to about here. So they basically, it's just the bottom piece. So yeah, there are some variations, and I think over the years on Thomas they did use different variations of the same part, because obviously this company manufacture these handrail things in different scales.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure what the question was. I think I'm going off on a tangent again.
No, it was more or less just like what's our opinions on the prop altogether.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, yeah, I just think it's a shame that that it's all resin now, that they haven't thought.
No,
well,
I don't think it's resin. I think it's 3D printed.
No, I think the original prototype was.
All right. Okay.
And presumably that's just so that they could display one at for sales pitching and things like that. But I presume once they get that all approved and iron out all the bugs, they'll probably get a proper mold made of everything so that they can mass produce them. And yeah, so I don't think they'll all be 3D printed. It would probably it's a lot quicker to cast in resin than it is to 3D print, and it's a lot I dare say probably marginally stronger in resin.
Yeah,
because I know some 3D printed stuff can be very brittle.
Well, that's just resin in general. I mean, whether you get cast resin, like I said, you can make it so it's more bendy. I appreciate that. But I mean, on the whole, it's resin. It's usually brittle anyway.
Yeah. What are your opinions on it there, Tom? Biddle?
Well, if it's 3D printed, or I don't really know what to say. I just feel a bit like it's going to be a bit of a flimsy model in that sense, unless it's. I don't know. I'm kind of. It kind of. How can I say? It kind of. I mean, last time we were asked a question about, she said, someone said something on the lines of, he thought the Thomas model was going to shadow everybody else's chance of making the builds because everyone's going to have one.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. I think because obviously it's static, it's not operated and everything. I don't think you can alter it in any way. And
well, I wouldn't. That's for sure, because it's a work of art that they're going to produce. It's designed for displaying, and not for playing with.
Yeah.
So I like it. I do like the look of it, but I don't think I'm really fussed about it myself, and I can't do anything with it. So.
Yeah, because I'm gonna try and see about getting one, but only for the sake of displaying it, like in my office. Really, that's all I want it for.
Well, yeah, I think that's perfect. It's perfect for the person who wants to have a beautiful display of a nice, accurate Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle on their shelf.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to make one that actually works, you might as well just start from scratch, to be honest. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because all the bits are out there. As I found when I was researching my own Thomas, I found that the pipe for the boiler came from EMA. I measured up a cast of a Thomas body, which meant I could get all the dimensions. And it's taken me forever simply because I haven't had much time to do it. But it was actually the laser cutting process made it a lot more economic and easy to make the body.
Yeah.
By the way, guys, just so you know, I've already pulled one of the latex. I mean, the where's the knife gone? I've already pulled out one of the resin castings.
How's it looking?
That's the roof tiles here.
All right.
It does take longer. I mean, there's some molds that does allow you to sort of. Let's check if this one's ready. Ah, here we are. Thomas' face is ready. If it sticks to the mold while it's drying, that means it's not ready to come. It means it's not hard enough. So just leave it. And if it's still a bit flimsy after pulling it out, that's fine. Put it somewhere flat and leave it. It should dry a bit long. Leave it to dry for a bit longer. But you should get something like this.
Okay.
And this is indeed one of the real true man Nick's faces he's made. I made a sort of mold of his face, and I've got about 6 copies of this now. Let's check on Toad's face. Yeah, that one's ready to come out. This is the face from Busy Going Backwards in O-Gauge by Diesel 10 TV.
Awesome.
Wasn't that used in any other episodes? I'm sure it was.
It was a truck at one point, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah, in what was it? In the season 8 episode Fish. I think it was. So
I think that was Bullstrode's face, wasn't it?
Yeah, they'd use that in another one, I think.
yeah.
David Mitten would never have let that get through if he was still directing.
Oh, God. And here's the coach seats. And that's just one out of many I've got to make, because I've not just got Annie to finish, I've got 3 more coaches to do. So this is going to be
You need about 6 or 7 for each. Oh, no, you need double that, wouldn't you? Because they're back to back, aren't they?
yeah. Here we are.
Have you thought about making a second mold?
What, like I did with your roof vents? Because I made about 4.
All right.
I might do. I guess it's just because I don't know. There's a few mistakes in the original in this one, so I mean I can fix that easy with some Mulliput, but I think I'll think about it at some point. But yeah, that's
the thing. We're making a mold of something. You've got to make sure the original item is absolutely perfect, or else,
yeah,
you're going to have a job sort of fixing in holes on hundreds of duplicates. That's why I've only got one good set of Thomas faces, because the ones I have casts of are I didn't want to mess around with too much.
Yeah.
that's fair enough.
So
When you fill in all the little holes, it takes forever, and it's something so small sometimes. Or maybe I'm just too much of a perfectionist.
I wish I had that perfectionist way of thinking actually sometimes, because there's times I get to a point where I actually kind of rush it, and then I think actually I wish I just waited.
Yeah, I've got the same problem. It's like, you get bored of taking so long on stuff sometimes, and you're cocking up.
yeah. So Max here has just asked me to read a comment here, which was he wanted to build a Marklin HO Gordon or Henry using a smaller HO loco. Any advice for building such a model, and how much styrene would he need? Best plastic cement for the project, so forth.
Well, I think the first thing about Marklin engines, they use AC rather than DC, I think. So you need to at least put a new motor in if you want it to run with the other engines. I have thought about it. It sounds like an interesting project. I think, is it Fleischmann who make German, outline engines as well?
Yeah, and I don't know if Volma does outline engines, but I'm not sure.
I mean, I'd consider even using one of those. It doesn't necessarily have to be Marklin, but yeah, I've thought about it, but I've never really followed it through. I don't really know how well it would adapt, whether or not you plan to use a body shell from a Bartman or making a body shell from scratch. I really don't know.
I think if you can work out the wheel diameter, you don't necessarily have to be a Marklin or a. You can always use Hornby or Backman or something. As long as it's got the same wheel diameter, you can always customize using
the aesthetic, I think, of a German engine. There are, I think actually one thing I learned was I think either the German engines, I seem to recall they got a very distinctly different amount of spokes on the wheels. I think it's an odd number rather than an even number or something like that. I'd have to count them. But I know when they did the wheels for the Drayton Manor Thomas, they had to replace them. They had the wrong number of spokes, I think by 1 or 2 spokes difference, which simply because the company that did the job used British outline wheels of the same diameter rather than made some that were just like the German ones.
Yeah.
So they had to remake the wheels because they weren't accurate to the Marklin models.
No, what happened? The company that remade the wheels for the Drayton Manor model, they make a lot of Gauge 1 models of the British Gauge 1 models or components, so you can buy them.
Yeah.
And so I think Drayton Manor thought, well, we need some wheels. They know what they're doing, but from what they did, instead of making a pattern that was exact to the original Thomas wheels, they just got some of a British type that were the same diameter, cast them up, and fitted them. So yeah, the amount of spokes on them is slightly different to the original Thomas prop.
Okay.
Which upsets me a little, but I guess it keeps his wheels moving.
Yeah. Well, for me personally, for me, the big ride-on one or the model.
The Gauge 1 model.
Right. Okay. I get it. I thought you were talking about that big ride gauge. That big.
No.
Oh, no. That big ride thing's really strange. It's actually run on bogies, I think, the ride-on one.
Yeah.
And the wheels on the outside that go around, they're just sort of for decoration. Because obviously it has to navigate around some really tight curves, which wouldn't otherwise be possible. Yeah, I'll have to go there again one day, Drayton Manor.
Yeah, I'm still on my bucket list. Really, I need to go to Drayton Manor, Thomas Land.
Oh, you've never been?
No, because the only places I've been so far that relate to anything close to Thomas Land there is either like the workshops I go to when I'm writing the stories, or maybe to the Star Tugs event.
Oh, so you've never been to many heritage lines?
No, because where I live here, really, we don't really have. There's only like there's only like one. I think there's a few heritage railways though, but they're not really that big, really. I don't, and sometimes they don't always operate though. But most times they will operate is probably during Christmas time, when there's like a Santa special on, or when there's a Halloween train on or something like that. But
anybody want to see this wheel press? How it works?
Oh yeah, hang on a second. I'll just put the camera on you. There we go.
Drayton Manor is not in Canada.
No.
I just thought it might be worth showing in case somebody wants to build kits using Alan Gibson wheels, which are not the easiest ones to do.
No.
Already press the axle on and put the bearing, these 2 bushes on, right? And I've put the crank pin in, right? And on the other wheel, I've put the crank pin in. Okay. Got to make a wheel set. So it automatically quarters it and presses a wheel. So you put it so the crank pin's in that hole. It's as fiddly as anything, especially when you've got a chassis in between it for the drive wheel. Hold it, right? And the other side, the crank pin hole's somewhere else. Be 90 degrees off. Put that on. Make sure it's central. Oops. So it is fiddly. Get the holes lined up. But before you press it, get a back-to-back gauge. And then press it.
All right.
Okay. Chop it a couple of times. That should be it now. That's it. So you got your wheel set. Check it, make sure it's even, and then do the blow test, which is blow it and see if there's any wobble. Oops, hang on. Which is a little bit. So which means I need to bend it out. It needs to tease slightly. But that's basically it. And then obviously you can drop it in. On this new type chassis, you can just drop it in and check it out. Works pretty well.
I might as well show what my progress is so far here with my Station Master's house here. So what I've done here is I've finished, I've cut out the front and back wall. So I'm actually doing the front section of the house right now. So I'm just cutting out the door and the window. Now the plastic card here I have is actually quite thin, but what I'm going to use is I've cut out these strips of pine or wood strip here, which I'm going to use inside here. But I'm going to glue this inside the building just to make it a bit more rigid and stronger. And I'm just going to make like a bit of a box skeleton using this stuff here. And to cut it here, I'm using this contraption, which is called the Micro Mark Chopper. And I saw this on Luke Towan's channel. He uses this quite a lot for whenever he's working on his scenery projects. And basically, it's just like a wee small blade on this little handle, and you just push it down. But you can get like these little features, little plastic bits here that are altered at certain angles, so you can get like perfect 90 degree cuts or 45-degree angle cuts. If you're making anything that requires those things, it's there for you. So I find this quite useful. You can order off from micromark.com, or you can maybe find some on various modeler sites. But yeah, it's a good item to have, actually.
Yeah, that'd be really useful.
Yeah, it's I've been using it for quite a few things. But I've been using it to make up the goods shed for Branchline Engines here, and it's nearly finished now. It's only just got the roof to make up, which I've still yet to make up right now. So, and oh yeah, by the way, I'm also using my version of since Gavin's working on Percy, I'm actually using my Bachmann adapted Percy, Revenant Percy, to scale up against the buildings, just so I can get a rough idea as to how big this building has to be.
I have to say that Bachmann model is a great improvement that you've done there. Because I have to say, of all the Bachmann engines, the Percy was perhaps the least successful.
Well, it's not
Percy one.
It's not really all that good, if I'm honest with you, because it's
That
just
looks fantastic.
Well, I mean, if from a distance it looks alright, but if I bring it up closely, you can actually see there are some parts where it's a bit crude. If you know what I mean. Sometimes this model was often made in a rush, because it was just all left on my list of stuff to do, so never got around to finishing it. But I think this is like the best I can do until I got the new Percy, which also I will make at some stage, because Gavin's very kindly made up the chassis for me, and he's posted it back to me there this week.
Kind of like this, pretty much.
Yeah.
Basically the same chassis.
Yeah, it's basically the same chassis here. So there's my model, and of course Gavin was testing a paint that he was using on the model, so I said it'd be fine. So that's what my next one's gonna be looking like.
Nice.
So, but yeah, maybe in another video, maybe not a Modeler's Corner one, but me and Gavin have been talking about maybe doing a video where he's going to teach me he's going to guide me through about making the chassis.
Basically what we're doing now.
Yeah, what Gavin's doing right now, there's going to be another video where he's going to teach me, who is somebody who's never done chassis building before in his life.
And the thing is, with these 3D printed ones, obviously, yeah, they're not as strong because obviously it's resin, not metal, but they are the easier because you don't have to solder them square or anything. That's already done for you.
Yeah.
I'll get some of this as well. Loctite 243, because it's only medium strength. So if you do have to undo it, it's not quite as bad as some of the more aggressive stuff.
Yeah.
Is it too soon to mention Daisy?
Sorry.
Yes, that yesterday you said about Daisy.
Oh yeah. Basically, it was. I mentioned the stream. I mentioned in one of the streams there. I think it was last time one. I was at the last Tugs event back in March with. Gavin was there as well because he was there on the Sunday, and we were talking. We were talking to Ryan, and Ryan then instantly went into his Daisy mode. That's what I often call it, his Daisy mode. And he put on the Daisy voice, and he went to me and he says, "Well, so Mr. White, when exactly have you got around to making my model? I mean, I would really like to see it though, but you haven't posted any pictures of it yet." So I said, I replied as if I would be talking to the character. I says, "Well, Daisy, my dear," he says, "the problem is that the person who I bought the Triang model from, it hasn't arrived yet in the post here." And Ryan screwed his face up and he went like, and then he says in Daisy's voice, "You lazy bastard! You utter bastard! Why haven't you already made my model yet?" And I was like, "Well, I can't make it until it arrives in the post. The postman is bringing it later. Get that bloody bastard on the phone and tell him to hurry up here. I want my model made." So we were like, yeah, we were kind of stitches.
I model made.
I know. Look, you didn't have one bought and ordered. And it was then, but the funny thing was that I can't. When I got home from that event, there, the model still hadn't arrived. It was like a week after I ordered it. So I contacted the seller and I said to him, "Yeah, I'm just wondering where is this model here because it hasn't arrived yet." And he phoned the seller phoned me up there and he says to me, "Yeah, there's a bit of a problem out there. The problem is that I accidentally sent it off to the wrong person by accident." And when I found out what happened here, I tried to tell them about this here, but they're not looking to part from it. So yeah.
What?
Yeah. So he sent them all off to the wrong person, and they don't want to send it back.
Oh God.
So
that's not good.
Yeah, because they thought it was a free gift. So.
Oh dear. Did you get a refund?
Yeah, I got a Yeah, he asked me if I wanted a refund there, and I says, "Yeah, that's fine, no worries." Here, and so that was me, and I found another one on eBay there, so I managed to get it. So, and it's actually this one here. So at some point, I'm gonna make this into Daisy.
How's it going to be double-ended? Are you going to convert all that with another power car?
Yeah, I'm gonna. I actually bought it as a set there, so it's like one power car, one dummy car. So,
all right.
Yeah. So I'm gonna make it as do what the Reverend did with his. So.
So you're going to do a Railway Series style face, or are these the faceless ones that you're doing?
I'm not going to actually say exactly what is going to be happening regarding to the faces, because there's some things. There's some methods in Brass Engines that I'm going to try out that they're more. It's more old school stuff, which I'm going to do for Brass Engines. But how I'm going to do the faces up here, you'll find out soon enough. But I think Tom Biddle is the only one who saw a test of it.
Yeah, I saw my voice being used in the test versions.
Yeah,
it was quite good.
Yeah, so all I can say is that the faces there will take some time to do, apparently. So
I would then. You'll see.
Yeah, that's one of the lines I used for the test. I actually remember when I was when we were recording Tom's lines. I had a glass of water with ice in it. I don't know. I just filled the glass with ice to the brim. Tom's recording his lines, and every now and again, you just hear me lifting the glass up to my mouth, and you hear the ice clinking. And the noise of it was so loud that it kept putting Tom off, and you can actually hear it in the recordings. And so Tom says to me, he says, "Michael, could you stop drinking, please? Stop drinking. Could you stop drinking the water because it's putting me off?" So
I know that actually.
Well, you sent me the whole recording session. In a few files there, so you can actually hear us bantering for there's about 2 hours worth of us just kind of currently bantering.
Okay.
And somewhere in there is your lines. But I actually managed the other day. I managed to sift through them there, and I managed to get them all gathered up here. So we're all good.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah. Sorry. I'm trying to find a Allen key. I don't know if you can see on my desk because I'm putting the wheels on the chassis frames.
Uh-huh.
I'm not doing it done up completely.
Yeah.
But it's just for basically what I'm doing on the exhibition.
Yeah.
So put someone's body shell on the chassis just for display. So it's not going to be a fixed frame or anything. It's going to be a bit of a cheat.
Okay.
Just so that I've got something to show on the exhibition. I don't know if I'll put a face on it, but
you should put one of the classic Thomas face. Yeah, that one on it.
That's what I was thinking of doing actually. Yeah.
Yeah, paint it up there and make it look have a.
Well, I don't know about that. I quite like the idea of it being a work in progress. I might just have it plain resin.
All right.
It's just I can't get this wheel off. So I can't. But anyway, this is what it might look like if I just do this carefully. No, not that side.
All right, well, now for something completely different. This van here.
Yeah.
Which was one I built quite a while ago. 10mm kit, of course. But I haven't done the brake rigging on it, so I have to finish that off.
That's pretty cool.
Go to plan. I had a lot of swearing yesterday when I tried to make a start on it. So just to warn you, if I start swearing, I do apologise.
Yeah, don't worry. I said at the start there.
Well, I just thought I'd reiterate
that.
Yeah. So I've made. Well, this was when I'd actually made the wagon a couple of years ago. I made these little holders, which hopefully should help things. I'm not sure if you can even see me. See the work.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we can see all right. Yeah.
It's the lighting. I know that there's not enough lighting. I should get some more lighting.
That's all right. By the way, what face has Thomas got on there? Is that just his normal happy face?
In mine?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he hasn't got eyebrows, so he does look a bit weird. But these ones were ones I did years ago with the eyes actually painted rather than cut out.
All right.
So yeah, just little vinyl stickers with the pupils.
Nice.
Let's pinch the camera a second.
Yep. Okay, yeah, you can take it for a bit.
Are we on?
Yep, you're on.
All right, so in brief. All right, with the chassis, I've assembled this wheel set. Okay. So again, you got these little bits that you slot in that are replaceable. You got your little bushes here, and it just drops in. So it can go up and down, but it can't twist. And you got a keeper plate, a bit like how Wombi do it. We'll have to put in carefully. That's going to be screwed in.
Daisy's being held for ransom.
But the wheel can now move up and down a little bit. 0.5 mm each way, and it can twist.
Cool.
Obviously, you can get to it if you need to. The exception is the drive wheel. But yeah, that's it for the time being. You might as well carry on talking because I've got nothing interesting to show you until I've got the next bit done.
No worries.
Like I said, this ain't exactly interesting model, I know, but it needs to be done.
That's interesting to us.
Right.
If I was painting the body shell, it might be a bit more interesting. I'll get round to it.
Yeah, don't worry, it's no rush.
I need to get it moving first.
Time for the old chopper.
I do have a similar wagon to what Tom has. In a
Great Western van.
Okay. This is LNR. It's got a plan for this. I was going to do I was actually going to try maybe a hand painted face on this one.
Well, that would be nice. What, like a Railway Series style?
Yeah, because someone on Twitter has done something similar using the face from
Oh, the Thomas and the Trucks one.
yeah, Trolls and Trucks. Yeah, so
Yeah,
basically,
I like that. I actually like those pieces there. They're quite cool.
because this kit comes with the fact that because usually box fans has the support beams on the outside, the support frames, but on this one you can decide whether or not you want them on the front and rear end. So I thought
The vents, yeah.
So I might have one side without them, just so I've got a space to draw the face on it. But,
Well, yeah, that's what they did sometimes with the stock on the TV show. I mean, Annie and Clarabelle are an obvious example, but there were a few others. I think there was a cattle wagon which didn't have all the bracing on one end,
Right.
and I think there are a few others, but I can't think of them off the top of my head right this moment.
yeah, I kind of I had a hard look at the truck face. I think what it is just basically like oval stickers with some pinstripe for the eyelashes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
It does look like it's been the eyelid itself does look like it's been coloured in with felt tip pen.
I thought it looked like it was coloured in with pencil, but you could be right.
Or both, yeah.
And probably just a little dot sticker for the eye pupil.
Yeah.
I know that I was told on Series 2 that the eyes were drawn on the engines, little, with a marker pen.
All right.
I don't know how it was done in Series 1. I think it was stickers, but they
there's one shot in Tenders and Turntables there you can actually see when you look at Thomas, they have you can actually see that you can actually see like the edges of the stickers.
But they brought the stickers back for Series 3 right till the end, and they used sort of glossy stickers to get that sort of shine on them. But I have to say, out of all of them, the Series 2 ones were probably the roughest.
Yeah.
Because they were all hand drawn.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let me see. Ben here has just messaged here. Once I've got a proper workshop space sword, I'd be interested in getting in on this, likely with my 10 cents replica, if anyone would be interested. Yes, Ben, definitely.
Yeah.
Love to have you on.
We had we met a guy a couple of years ago in Brighton. I think you were there. We they were doing the show because in front of our store there was open swimming pool. And
oh yeah, I remember that.
And they had like were you there?
Yeah, I was there for one of the days. Yeah,
in 2016.
Yeah.
Okay, because I don't remember seeing you.
Well, I wasn't known at the time.
I was gonna say because okay. I'll try to see if I can remember you there. Oh, well, anyway, yeah, they were doing things like they're doing boat shows. Like there was a swan there, and
I've seen the video of the swan. Yeah. That was quite funny.
I can see a rucksack. the same guys who did the show, they were trying to make a Tugs replica at some point, so they could actually use it in the show next year.
All right.
I don't know if they ever got around to making it, but I think they were going to try and get some measurements off the Tugs or something. But I don't know. I mean, there's one funny story actually. Near the end of the first show, I tried to get I asked the guy who was doing the voice of the swan. I sort of said to him, "Listen, when he gives you a sandwich, can you just say, you can join the dining club now?" And he said it, but obviously no one heard, and our stall was right in front of it. So a bit later on in the evening, me and Benji were just sort of talking, and the swan comes up to us, and the guy does the voice. He goes like, "Hello, chaps. You can join the dining club now." And I just got a massive roar of laughter from the Tugs table. Everyone's like, oh, that was brilliant. And just Ryan's face was like that was bloody brilliant. Oh, I love that day. That was brilliant. You can join the dining club now. If you guys don't know what the dining club is, it's banter from the Yorkshire trip in 2009, which was 10 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, time has flown.
I was 17 then.
How old would I have been?
Was that before or after the Wales holiday?
Yeah, I would have been 17 as well.
You weren't there, Gab, were you?
No, but I was on the Wales holiday, but it was the same year.
That was before Wales.
So what year is that?
2009.
2009. How? Let me see now. I'm 27 this year. I probably must have been 18 or something.
Minus 10 years, so it would be 17.
Yeah, I've been 17. Yeah.
Right. So what I'm doing now is I'm putting the buffers on the Thomas body. It's not obviously just for the show, but what I did to try and make it match the Marklin model, I've used these coach buffers from Roxy Moldings, and they do look quite similar, I think. But it does look a bit funny on being on an E2, I think.
Oh, it'll be all right, like, you know.
But there again, I was trying to make it represent the TV model more than the
railway series.
Or more where it should be, because I know I was debating whether or not I'd just have like an actual E2 looking like Thomas, but then I thought I quite like the fact that this kit, it comes with parts so you can actually make a Thomas.
Yeah.
And at the time I kind of got, because obviously I was because I was reading all this stuff about how the Marklins were made and things. I was kind of fascinated. I thought I'd like to just sort of replicate that in some way, because obviously in O-Gauge I can't get anything from 10 mil or things like. I have to kind of improvise.
Yeah.
Well, I can't use the faces. I can't use yeah. So I'd just like to kind of represent the show in some sense.
Well, that's the beauty of 3D printing, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you're a master in your 3D printing. It's thanks to some jet ski here. My O-Gauge Clarabelle has the accurate roof vents.
Oh yes, wait a minute. I've got mine here somewhere. 1 minute. There we are.
And that's the beauty.
So it's still a work in progress. I've been very lazy. I haven't done very much on him or her. But
still looks very good though.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to glue the roof on. I mean, originally I think they were separate and you could open up all the compartments, but because I bought this ready-made,
yeah,
and I've just had to slowly adapt it, it's really going to be impossible to open up the interior. So I think it might as well be just that I glue the roof on.
You could always maybe fit a battery box in it, perhaps. Like, yeah, for you can have.
Well, I did think about that, but there are actually shots, believe it or not, in the show where you can see that to create the light, they actually fit a battery, like a light panel, on one side of the coach.
All right.
And that they filmed from the other side.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's an episode. Oh gosh, what was it? Series 4. Thomas and Stepney. There's a shot where Thomas is at the station at night, and you can actually see this battery box on one side because it's looking down the train.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can see the battery box on Annie and Clarabelle.
Okay.
So yeah, it was just a light panel that they stuck along one side that shone through the
so because I was looking at that episode yesterday, and I saw that there, and I was like, "What is that?" I didn't know what it was, but that's a bit of an interesting fact there.
Yeah.
But what I also noticed here, if you look in Edward's exploit, you can actually see the they didn't actually put the a tail lamp on the actual last coach. When you see the red light coming from it, they you just see the bulb just sticking out.
I noticed a few mistakes on Edward exploit. If you look carefully at one of the coaches, the roof's coming off.
Yeah.
And also,
Series 2 is really bad for mistakes.
Yeah. I felt like I don't want to call it lazy, because they did do a lot of work in trying to make the locations look like it's from
the books. Yeah.
Yeah. But in terms of the model making, in terms of the building the trains and things, it kind of explains why they went for the red coaches in the end, because I think that the orange ones were just falling apart, really.
Yeah. Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of stuff fell apart after Series 2. So they made new stuff for Series 3 and just focused on that.
Well, I just wondered what they were doing with them. Like, the kind of, you know...
I mean, I've heard many accounts where stuff literally they took all the bits that they could reuse, like the wheels and the buffers and things, but they were just vacuum formed plastic, and when they're in storage or maybe inappropriately stored with wrong temperature conditions, the plastic can tend to crack and curl up.
Yeah.
And it's just not really salvageable. I mean, I've heard of many accounts where these things just was crushed in a bin, you know, which it may sound tragic to us, but considering they were making brand new ones and reusing what they could salvage, like the wheels, yeah, there was not really much that was any use to anyone on the production.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing, really.
But it is tragic. The original Annie and Clarabelle got crushed once they'd made the new ones, which, you know, to us as fans, you know, must seem like, something awful. But for them, they probably thought, well, we've got a new one. We don't need the old ones.
So what series were the old ones crushed?
Sorry?
What series were the old ones crushed?
I think maybe in season 3, because I mean, if you look at Annie, like she doesn't have that extension on her buffer beam.
Well, they made several new ones. There's ones made for Series 3. Then they adapted, I think, either they made new ones or they adapted the old ones for Series 5. But there are 2 versions in Series 5, the old version and the new version, which was made of resin. But even that had several versions, the resin versions, because they kept getting broken. But yeah, I think they went through more Annie and Clarabelles than they did through Thomas's, to be honest.
It sounds like it sounds a bit like what happened like on Red Dwarf. Do you remember hearing the stories about on Red Dwarf where Craig Charles had this habit of constantly breaking the props, and every time a prop broke, but either he or Danny John Jules would go like, you know, that prop lasted a while there, guy. and it would get a huge up, and sometimes it would get a bit of an uproar from the studio audience.
Oh yeah, of course, that had live audience, didn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So I changed
I
subject.
have to admit, I'm more of a Doctor Who fan than a Red Dwarf fan. So.
Oh. I met Craig Charles actually a couple of years ago.
Oh. Yeah.
And my story was quite funny because I was it was actually in Reading during New Year's, and I was basically in the audience waiting for, because Craig Charles was supposed to be doing a DJ set.
All right.
He was supposed to come on at 10 o'clock. He didn't come on till 1 in the morning. And during that time, I got really drunk.
Right.
And I'm not a big drinker, just put it out there. But I was dancing, and I was obviously dancing. I got to the front of the line. It was Craig Charles, and I kept thinking, well, I didn't see it as Craig Charles, the actor. So I kept thinking, it's Dave Lister. I've known him for like half my life, and I just suddenly had this urge because there's no security there or anything. So and the safety gate, the security, what's it called?
The barrier.
The barrier. There was a gap where someone easily slipped through.
Oh God, Tom, you didn't.
I did.
Oh mate.
I jumped up. I thought, you know what? I don't care if I get chucked out. So I jumped up on stage. I shook his hand, and I got taken off back in the audience. I didn't get kicked out or anything. And I mean, I felt kind of sorry for Craig because I kept thinking he must think I was trying to kill him or something. But then I touched his hand.
You utter smeghead.
No, I just thought, like, you just got to do these things sometimes. You got to live in the moment.
Yeah, because I remember I actually saw who did I saw live? I saw Danny John Jules live at a Comic-Con in Belfast, and then then some years before then it was I've forgotten what her name is, but it was Hattie who plays Holly. Then she was with Robert Llewellyn, and throughout the entire panel, every time everybody asked Robert a question, he often constantly like talked about his time on Scrap Heap Challenge, which everybody seemed to enjoy it more. In fact, we actually had more questions about Scrap Heap Challenge than Red Dwarf.
Well, okay,
because let's be honest, Scrap Heap Challenge was actually a bit more interesting because there was more like funny health and safety stories to talk about than Red Dwarf, because there was some stuff that they got in trouble with from the blokes at Channel 4 because of the health and safety for it.
Well, guys,
just seeing something in the chat about a question for me.
Oh,
have you considered making a chassis for the Ertl Thomas for TT gauge and other bits? Not really, to be honest. No, quite particularly what I make chassis for, to be honest.
Right, guys, I've just put the buffers on mine.
Very nice.
And they're similar to the markable ones. So, I mean, they're coach buffers, but they looked. And here it is on the chassis.
minus the middle wheels.
Yeah, I've got to find the iron key for that.
It's probably in the box somewhere.
No, it's not. It's in these bags somewhere. I can't remember which one it is. I remember seeing it, but I can't remember which box I put it in. So I don't know why. When you model all the time, you kind of think, I'll remember it for next time, and of course you don't.
Yeah.
You lie to yourself, basically.
See, because I actually when I was starting to make my Donald or Douglas model, because I haven't really decided yet which version which member of the twins it's going to be. I actually bought last year the boiler fittings, like the smoke box door, chimney, and safety valves to fit onto it. But then I lost them. I put them away somewhere, but I don't know where, and I've lost them somewhere.
Okay.
So that's why I had to order new ones. So
yeah, they must be around somewhere.
I know, but the fact is, I put them. They're that small. They're just they could be anywhere, like really.
Well, the plus side is you can always make the twin then.
I suppose.
If you find the bits, you'll have the bits to make the other one. Yeah, I lost a few things in the past, and it's funny, you put them in places which you think are very clever.
Yeah.
Where no one will find them, and you forget, and then you're tearing the house upside down just to find it.
I always do this thing. And tell me if nobody else does this here. Is where you're trying to look for something, and you can't look everywhere you can to look for it, and then at one point you then say to yourself, "Oh, I give up. I don't know where it is." And instantly, the moment you say those words, it's there. It just appears in front of you.
So,
would that ever happen?
Yeah, it does. I mean, for me, it's always the last thing. When you search through every box.
Yeah.
It's always the last box that you search through that it's in.
Yeah.
It's never like the 10th or the 12th or the 15th. It's always the 50th box.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is that bit where I just have to stand really still and wait for the glue to dry. I've decided not to use super glue. I'm using 2-pack Aeraldite, epoxy resin.
All right.
Because that super glue was what caused me to swear my head off yesterday. Yeah.
On Biddle's side. Oh, sorry.
I'm using this Everbuild industrial grade super glue. This stuff here to stick in the supports. So,
but is it slower though? Slower.
Let me see. Dry time takes roughly about 5 to 15 seconds, but
that doesn't sound any better than.
Well, really, to be honest, it's more or less just if it's for a quick job, really, then I find it good to work with. Plus, it's quite strong now.
Yeah, it's just a pain to get access to these Wagon underframes because next thing you know, you get a spot of glue on the wheel, and it either gives it a bump or glues it to the axle box, or it gets everywhere.
Yeah.
I really got to get some new super glue soon, which has a finer nozzle on it.
Right, we've got another question here for Tom here. What besides that, did Tom every experiment in gauge 1 or anything above O gauge before? And if so, what inspired you to do this?
Which Tom's this for?
Yeah, well, I think I only need to ask this here. Which Tom are you referring to? That one fuzzy guy. Tom Jensky or Tom Biddle? Because that's the thing we all need to point out, guys. If you need to ask questions to Tom Biddle, just put like a B next to Tom, and then put for Tom Jensky, just put a J afterwards. So it makes things a lot easier for me to read them out. So also, I noticed Sean O'Connor is in the chat as well here.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Hi, Sean. How's it all going?
Hi, Sean.
I think he says he's going to try and maybe come in one episode at one stage as well as Ben. So yeah, definitely, we'll try and see if we can arrange one.
Yeah, it should be good.
For you guys to come on, because I remember I spent most of the time at at the last Tugs event, talking to, just basically watching or maybe talking to both Ben and Sean because about certain model techniques out there. Because I actually found them restoring Lily more interesting to watch than looking at all the other Tugs and merchandise out there.
The question was to Tom Jetski.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
so what was the question?
Just says here, another question for Tom Jetski here. Sorry for all the questions. Lol.
No worries.
But besides that, did Tom every experiment in gauge 1 or anything above O gauge before? And if so, what inspired you to do this?
Did I ever experiment with?
Yeah, did you ever experiment in gauge 1 or O gauge before? What inspired you to do it?
Before Thomas?
Hmm.
Well, no, well, it was the Thomas thing which made me want to do gauge 1. But I suppose there was an element of the filmmaker in me that I was going to university to study filmmaking that made me think, well, if I want to do a fan film that looks okay, I probably should do it at a bigger scale because that was the reason why they did them in gauge 1 in the first place. I know they had considered O gauge and 00, but it would have been too small with the camera.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was obsessed with the TV series. So yeah, that's what brought me into gauge 1. And yeah, I don't think I've considered doing any non-Thomas gauge 1 stuff, to be honest.
That's an interesting topic. I just want to change the subject. The right scale for show. So you think O gauge is not good for wouldn't be suitable for?
Well, it's better than 00. I'll say that. But but I mean, it has to be said. Since 1984 or 82, when they made the pilot, camera techniques have improved. So,
oh yeah, definitely.
Although I'd say gauge 1, the bigger the model. I mean, even gauge 1 was tiny. When they did Magic Railroad, a lot of the Americans thought, "How on earth are we going to shoot models this small?" Or the Canadians rather. So they did consider doing double scale, which is where the Jack in the Pack models came about.
Oh,
they were actually made as a test for Magic Railroad and not for Jack in the Pack. But yeah, I think what they wanted to make them as big as possible, but unfortunately gauge 1 was the biggest they could go because Series 1 was in a warehouse in Battersea, which really couldn't have accommodated much more space if they'd gone any larger.
So what scale was the Back to the Future train?
I think that was. I'd say it was probably maybe.
Scale?
I'd say it was probably maybe 5-inch scale.
It was bigger than that.
Was it? Okay, well, 7 1/4.
I'll have to Google that one, unless anyone knows who's watching. It's a real shame though. They spent all those months building this beautifully crafted engine and then just threw it off a cliff.
But then that's the whole thing, like I mean,
that's the whole point. I mean, it's better to throw a model off than the real thing.
Yeah, because I've seen some guys who worked on these shows, and they said they get more joy seeing the model destroyed than actually building it.
It's the adrenaline, I guess, but it only lasts for like 2 seconds. You spend 6 months making a model, or maybe not quite that long, but
yeah,
you spend months making something. And in the case of the Back to the Future train, as far as I know, it wasn't like made out of cardboard or plastic. It was mostly machined out of metal.
Yeah, because I mean, the one that was used for Hugo for that train crash sequence for the station. I mean,
they made a big model for that, didn't they?
Yeah, there's a very good behind the scenes of that there, and I found that pretty cool, and that was all like machined made.
No, that was a fun film. It's a shame I never saw it when it came out, but no, I think it's a splendid film, and not because it has trains in it.
Yeah. What about the Tidfield Thunderbolt? I mean, what gauge would that have been? O gauge or gauge 1?
I thought it was gauge 1, but it might be bigger. There's a project. Got a towed brake van, but obviously not a. That's a 10mm one, but
no, but I mean, for that crash scene there, they basically all they used was basically the 1400 class and the Wisbech coach, and that was it, really.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. There was also a wonderful Hitchcock film, which I've never seen in its entirety, but it's got the best ever chase sequence. It was called.
Is it Hugo?
Number 17, I think. It was
called
Number 17, and it's got an A1 class, Gresley A1.
Nice.
And it's racing along out of control because there's a bunch of people who smuggled on the train, and they're climbing on all the wagons. Yes, they actually did the real stunts when they're shooting it at night, and they climb on all the wagons and shoot the driver. And, can't stop the train, and of course it's heading. It's a freight train, so it's heading towards a big ferry. So eventually it plunges into the water and the ferry train. But it was all done with Gauge 1 models, the cutaway shots of it. You know, the crash and the. There was a bus that looks just like Bertie, which tries to chase after it. So who knows? Maybe Audrey had a bit of inspiration there, because this was one of the earliest sound films. It was 1920s, or was it 30s? I'd have to Google it.
What scale was the model in typical Thunderbolt then?
That's what I say. We were thinking maybe it might have been Gauge 1 or
Gauge 1.
I say it's Gauge, probably maybe Gauge 1, because I mean that was mostly from how it was back then.
I just realised I found what I was looking for last night. The bogies I was going to use for the Monsell O-Gauge coaches.
Right.
Well, basically, I've got a set for one here, but I don't know how. I might try and because I've made things out of white metal before. I might try and make a mold of it. But here's the GWR. It looks similar, not exactly like the 10mm ones, but that's the.
Yeah.
Don't know if you can see that, Tom. Or.
Oh yes, the bogies. Yes, wait a minute. Let me see if I can get my one. I'll be 1 second.
They're not the ones you've got, obviously. They're the close as you can get, I think. So yeah. I'm sorry not doing much modelling, guys. I'm
No worries, Tom. No worries.
I mean, last night I literally used all the solder up on these. These are the W irons. You don't know what they are. They're basically what they use to hold the wheels up in place. And they fit under your
provides the axle
body shell.
Slide on the axle guard.
So what I'm trying to do now is
so those bogies that you got.
Yeah,
they're the Great Western ones, aren't they? From
Great
Western. Yeah, they do look rather similar to the ones that you get on the flat wagons, which were also used on the Series 1 express coaches.
Yeah. They're not even that specifically detailed, are they? Like they haven't got.
Not originally, no. I mean, these were narrow gauge bogies which 10mm made, which obviously the wrong scale, but because they were cheap, I presume that's why they bought them in bulk for the coaches in Series 1.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about it before, didn't we? But it's interesting though.
Because the bogies that 10mm were offering, and right through to the end actually, or from the beginning even, they were all made of white metal, and they had hundreds of little pieces that you have to sort of glue together. So these ones are different. You've just got to put a couple screws and drill some holes for the axles, and you'll be ready to go. So in film and TV world, you're constantly trying to cut corners and save time, because time's money, and usually the prop makers, they expect it to sort of be ready like yesterday, rather than they got barely any time to make this stuff.
Right.
And it's funny how I said this once before. Actually, I was this is after a night out. I said it's funny how we spend months trying to recreate something that took model makers weeks to do.
Yeah, well, it's because when you're even trying to recreate, dare I say it, the imperfections, because when they were making, for example, the buildings, they were probably doing it just how Michael's doing it. They're just looking at a drawing and just sort of saying, "Oh, well, that looks about right," and I'll use this and I'll reinforce it with that. But when we do it, we have to think, well, how did they make it, and what did they use, and what are the dimensions? Even going as far sometimes as counting the amount of bricks along each side to sort of get the right size. Yeah, I know.
We
go to some lengths sometimes, but so yeah, originally they would have knocked up a few buildings in a couple of days, but for us it takes forever because it's the homework. That's I suppose a huge chunk of the job is just doing your homework.
I don't even use the right spokes. These are just what I was given. Sometimes I just use whatever's there.
They look really good though.
Thank you. Can I just say, Tom, Thomas' face makes him look a bit like Morph from Smart.
Yeah, no eyebrows. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
But it looks pretty good though. I mean, Every time I see one, every time I see the laser cut, I'm so tempted. Ooh, oh dear.
Oh, don't worry, it's not. Everybody who's seen it in person, they try and pick it up, and it all falls to pieces because it's not glued together. Eventually, it will have black tack, but the original one had a removable dome, which I've recreated.
Nice.
Oh,
And there's a reason for that. If I can pick it up without breaking anything, the smoke jar underneath it fit between the frames of the chassis. They'd fill it up, but when they wanted to put the body on, there'd be a little pipe that would be running along. It would sort of curve down. It would go up and then across and then up through the chimney. And to get that pipe aligned when they were lowering it onto the chassis, they had to, and to get the pipe to fit, they made the dome removable so you could sort of press the pipe into the into the smoke jar. And you can see in some shots, I think there's is it Trust Thomas? There's a shot where it looks, there's two shots of Thomas with two different expressions, but in one of it, it's slightly crooked. But it's usually covered with the trim line.
That's quite because I mean in Thomas Percy Nicole, this is actually mentioned in the Goose video. They said that the dome looks like it's bent to one side.
Yeah, it was coming off.
Yeah.
Because it just sat on there, probably with a bit of blue tack underneath, but sometimes it would obviously come off. And it's funny, you know, the things that they never noticed. And you know, the crew. I mean, even as they were making the show, I mean, just cast your minds back to what 2003 or thereabouts.
Yeah.
And they were making what Series 8. You know, the internet was a place where already there were people who were pointing out these goofs in the old episodes. There were websites that
I used to rely on TV.com to provide me with all the goofs.
Yeah, and they knew about it. The people who worked on the show, they knew about all the goofs, and they would try extra hard to try not to get those goofs, and then they'd log into these websites about a year later and find out all the goofs that were in their own episodes.
God.
So no matter how hard you try, there will always be goofs. But
what's funny is the restored versions have done worse as well.
Like goof.
Yeah, like the episode called, like, you know, they actually show Henry ramming into Wellsworth building.
Yeah. Well, I think they probably, because the shot is what they call locked off, so it's static. There's no moving camera. And I think probably what they did, because they would have done 2 takes simultaneously, they probably keyframed the action of, was it Edward coming into the station?
Yeah.
And they probably thought, oh, well, that's the same take. And they probably didn't watch the whole clip through to see that it was actually the wrong take. And not just the wrong take, but an outtake, which, you know, the action was not in any way the same. But there's millions of problems with those restored ones. I mean, ones where they couldn't find the shot, so they just used the old footage, which looks really bad. And there are other ones where they have used alternate angles or there's is it No Joke for James? There's a shot where he's at the docks pushing trucks around, and the take they use is the trucks are all derailed.
Yeah, that was.
But you know, I mean, as someone who's recut them to make my own versions, which I'm more happy with, being the completist that I am, I have to say though, it for the mistakes, it's actually given us as fans insight, really, to get a sense of some of these. To see some of these outtakes, which, you know, would never have been seen otherwise.
Someone make mistakes anyway, so
it's just a shame they've never revised the edit over the years. It'd be nice if they did a Blu-ray.
That's another thing I was going to ask actually. This actually brought up in Thomas and the Truck Scoof, the American version.
Oh,
there's
the train.
Yeah,
I think it's a shame Lewis. It's a shame Lewis isn't actually on, because he might be able to say something about. It's that thing which everyone for the end of time has been trying to find out how that happened, but apparently I could be wrong. I think something happened with the master tape that the Americans got, and I think it was randomly picked up. This is just partly speculation, actually. I suspect the tape was picked up by someone who was learning how to do dubbing. And they probably just said, oh, well, you know, you just record like this, and just they played a section of Thomas and Trucks, and someone just said, look out for the train, and then press stop. I mean, that's what I speculate. But yeah, till the end of time,
what mistake they've actually now made for the American audiences.
Yeah, imagine if that was on they did a Blu-ray with all the special features. They could have like an alternate soundtrack of Thomas and the Trucks with "Look Out for the Train." Although you'd have to find out who did the voice, wouldn't you? Because you'd have to clear it to like get consent.
What if you got fired for doing that?
Who? Sorry.
I wonder if he got fired for doing that.
Probably not. I mean, I wouldn't fire someone for a mistake like that. They should have checked the tape, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
They should have checked the tape before it was mass produced or mass copied.
Yeah. Right. I can't find it anywhere.
What, the Anki?
Yeah. I'm looking at every single possible box because otherwise I can't put the wheel on Thomas and. I mean, I'm still debating. I don't know if I should clean it, or, like clean the brass before show it, or just keep it as it is.
Don't know.
Because it means when I actually finish putting it together, I will have to wash it again. But
yeah. Just want to talk for a bit here about my model here, which I'm currently working on right now here. What I'm putting on here, I'm putting on these end bits here on the walls. These cornerstones or queens, I think they're called. Is that what you call them? These wee cornerstone things you see on buildings. These things here. But yeah, I'm putting these on here, and even though the illustrations don't show this on the house, I'm putting these in for a reason, and
make it more secure.
Oh, something like that, yeah. But they're there. They're here for. I put them on here for a reason, and you'll probably know. I'll probably explain maybe sometime in the future why. But there's a bit strong reason here.
Oh,
you
you're
see
teasing
Thomas in the background. Oh, yeah, it's just an old Thomas. Right, Ben's just asked a question here. Tom Biddle, do you use just what type is that? Citadel paints or variety?
Use what? Sorry.
Do you use Citadel paints or variety?
What's could you repeat the question?
Ben, he said he's asking you like, do you use just Citadel paints or variety?
Oh, the paint, right? Yeah. No, I use the variety. That's what I use. This is what I use for when I was making Clarabelle, for example. That's what I used to make the teak. I use this brown coat here. So I spray painted the body orange. So obviously spray paint these coach pieces here. Obviously prime it first. Coat it in orange spray paint, and then with a paintbrush, just coat it in this brown in this Cephia coat, and it comes up with the teak look that you're after. This one, the black one, I'm going to use for faces to see if it leave any like shadowing in the nooks and crannies.
Yeah.
The red, the orange one, that's what I used when I was doing the test fit version. That makes sense. So trying out yellow with orange sepia type stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do use a variety. Yeah, I mean, I use Tamiya paint. I use a bit of enamel, but I mostly just use any sort of spray paint, really. You know.
What paint brand do you like best, really? Like in terms of like the shades of paint and the way it flows.
At the moment, well, it's kind of hard because I use a variety. I mean, Thomas's the coat on Thomas, I've used an airbrush.
Yeah.
Like the wheels, for example, and the wagons I use army spray paint. So I guess I haven't really. I quite like the quality of the air. I do really like the spray paint, depending on how well you use it.
Mm-hmm.
On if you know your stuff. So, for example, It's a really hard question to answer, if I'm really honest. I quite like them all, but if I had to go for one, I'd say I prefer using the airbrush.
Okay.
Purely because you have more control at how much comes out of how much paint comes out with a spray paint. You have to use what's there, if that makes sense. So the nozzle size. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Right, Max is asking me to answer questions here. He's just to point out, Max. I can't always answer the questions here. You just give us time, like till we finish.
You said there's a delay, didn't you? They said there's a delay on the.
A delay on the what?
You said on people commenting on YouTube, there's a delay of a few minutes.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, Max is just saying, like, could you read the last question, please? And so forth. I'm just saying, just letting you know, like, we will answer all the questions as best we can, like, just sometimes the subjects that we go on takes a while. So, but anyway,
yeah, trying to model as well, as well as read the questions. So it's like we haven't got two sets of eyes.
Yeah. Hang on, there's a lot of questions here coming through here. Question: options on Shutter Productions Ghost Stories. Yeah, I listened to his audio stories. They're actually quite good. Or his videos. I actually download them as as audio formats. And I just listen to them whilst I'm away on holiday or so forth. Like I do with some like if there's any videos I like on YouTube out there, I would actually download it as an audio, just so I can listen to it, because the story plots sound very good as an audiobook. I just get more enjoyment out of that. But yeah, there's another question I saw. A question for Tom Biddle: where can I find the Ogage 2 kit and the conversion part to make him look like Thomas?
Well, it's not online. It's quite hard to get that one right now, because I think
it's like Ace Products, wasn't it?
It was Ace Products, but the website's down, and I think so. Basically, what you might have to ring them up, and it might cost you.
It's astonishing how many of these kit companies
and he does
even have a website.
And I think he only takes checks.
Oh god, that's even more old-fashioned.
Yeah.
Get 10 mils the same.
Ooh, excuse me.
He'll take checks.
Well, no, actually, no, they take card, but they don't have a nice and easy sort of buy it now on the website. You've got to either call them up or send them a sort of an order form.
Right. See, because I remember I rang up Southern Eastern Finecast one time last year, and I asked them about if I could make a purchase on the J70 kit from Newcastle, because they recently they did a pairing with branch lines with the chassis out there, so they managed to buy the old Newcastle kits molds out there, so they now continue making the J70 kits. So in order to place an order for it there, I had to ring them up there, and I've forgotten who the name of the guy was that served me there, but he was very, very, very nice, polite man, really, and I just says to him, like, I would like to buy the white metal J70 tram kit, please. And he says to me, oh yeah, he says, oh, it's funny that one seems to be very popular. Ever since we started making them there, they've become very popular. And I laughed and I says, well, there is a reason for that there, and you'll be surprised when I tell you. He's like, oh, what's the reason? I says, the reason is that many people are actually converting this into Toby the Tram engine, because the Reverend Audrey actually used that kit for his second model of Toby. So, and he was surprised. He's like, "Oh, I didn't know that." There, so he's like, "The more you know, the more you know." He says, "I'm glad people are buying them now."
As seen on Tom's engine.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Gavin's scene. What's Gavin got on his desk here? What the? Oh, be right back. BRB. getting tea. That's very funny. That's very good. Kind of reminds me, like when I used to exhibit it, when I was exhibiting at shows like that, I used to leave a little notice on my layout whenever I need to go and maybe use the lose or something like that, and I would write down like maybe back in 5 minutes, or operation trains halted due to need of nourishment or something like that. There.
Hey guys, I've got a sign for you.
Hang on, let me put it up. he's gonna wonder what the heck this is all about when he gets back. Oh, now, make another one here. Just no, hang on. Measure you up. Yeah.
Right, well, I'll have to BRB in 5 minutes. Hopefully the glue dries.
Yeah, no worries.
That's funny for you, right? I could start on that wagon, I guess. Or
Can if you want.
yeah.
See, because I was actually a bit of a having a bit of a choice exactly what I was going to work on for tonight. Because I mean, it was either going to work on building the milk van for Brass Engines or make the Station Master's house. I chose the Station Master's house stuff because I need more buildings really than I do room stuff. So I can save the milk van for another episode. Oh yeah, that reminds me. Just to let the guys in the chat know here. There's not going to be an episode of Modeller's Corner next week because I'm going to be away doing a panel in Dublin for Pablo, so I won't be available to host the stream. But hopefully there may be one next week. Now I've had somebody ask me to see whether or not they can join in the stream. So I'll need to get back to him here and sort it all out here. So, but just to give you guys a heads up on that there. So
no note.
Yeah, I saw the note there.
Ah, good.
Hopefully, in the meantime, it's all prepared.
So.
No, I was just saying the chassis is fixed in now.
Oh, let's have a look.
Oh.
It took a while because you have to sort of like self-tap the resin.
Right.
It's a bit of a... You've got to be careful with it. Sometimes it goes a bit loose, but...
Yeah.
Obviously, ideally, you want to do it metal, but it's not metal, so it works okay. It's secure. It's not going nowhere. But once you know where the fixes are, you can put it in and take it out, and you can start building the chassis. So take them out now.
Cool.
I just went downstairs. I've got a new tea. I had some Jaffa cakes, a piece of cake, and what do you think I had?
It must be snack time because I've just got some crisps.
Oh, right.
I had a yogurt.
I'm just still munching away at this snack fruit and nut thing. To be honest,
full fat Greek yogurt with some grapes and raspberries and freaking gorgeous, and a few blueberries. Love it.
Ooh. Funny, I actually tried. Oh god, no, that's wrong. I actually tried this weird combination, which was those Ryvita biscuits or crackers. Yeah. I got a packet of those, and I bought a tub of Greek yogurt. I just opened it up there, and I just did the Ryvita crackers into the yogurt.
Did it work?
It was quite good actually. It was quite filling.
Okay.
Very filling actually. Whew.
Right. I've done the main frames.
I don't understand what you're saying, Max Hazler. This is the first one you've seen. How can the previous ones be great viewing because you wouldn't have seen them? Confused. Please explain.
It means he's been watching all the apps. He's been watching all the streams whilst he was working on his layout there.
Okay. I want to just reply as well to Max Hobby Productions. I've got the first one up. If you scroll up in the chat, I'll put the links to the FUD one, although you can then find the WSIP one. Or you can get one directly off me for this local body here. But I'm also working on another one, which is more like branch line engines, more realistic take. A bit like 2A rails, but different.
Oh, interesting. Why is yours yellow?
Eh?
Why is yours yellow? Is that the primer?
Yeah, it's primer paint, yeah.
Yeah.
I printed this, was it today? No, it was yesterday I printed this on the photon. I'll just give it a blast so we can actually see it, because it's obviously black, you can't see it that well. Because I'm using black resin now. Makes sense. It's good for chassis.
So what brand of primer do you use? Halfords?
This is just a Halfords plastic filler primer, yeah.
Oh.
But I quite like to use Tamiya. It's like a top coat.
All right.
The super fine stuff. Once you're happy with it, little blast of that's good.
So how's your Edward coming, Mike?
Yeah, fine. I'm just I just put it's just in this box now for a minute here. I just need to get sorted out some stage. You see, because I'm just working on different things really, like, you know, but I'm kind of behind with getting stuff done for branch line engines really, so I want to try and get more done on that. So but yeah, I have started filming it. Just to let everyone know, branch line engines has begun filming. There is still some parts of it though that I'm still currently waiting on to get made up here, but I'm currently just working on the small scenes first before I advance on making doing any of the larger sets. So, but what I will say here is that the Farquhar set is going to be filmed last because it's going to be quite a big set though. So I need to film that all last, and I think I've arranged with Gavin to come over and help me with filming.
Looking forward to it. I need some notice though, so I can get a passport sorted out.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I don't know. I don't think it'll be this summer though, but it might be maybe next year or maybe the year after. I don't know.
Oh, how long is it going to take?
Hey,
how long is this project going to take?
I don't know, because I have to make up all the buildings and the sets, and then there's another feature in it that needs to be made up as well. So I need time to work on that. But all of last year was spent on getting the script written, getting the cast assembled, and then spend the rest of the time researching on how I was going to film the thing, and to see what would work and what doesn't work. So I just spent the whole thing just spent all of last year just undergoing tests and practice runs to see what works and what's suited my tastes. And most of it all all went according to plan. So hopefully when things go according to plan,
yeah,
it shouldn't take too long to get it filmed.
All right.
Michael?
Yes?
You put camera on set. This is more for you than anything else.
Yeah, it's on camera now.
Oh, okay. You said there's 3 holes here, and yours is only 1.
Yeah.
So we designed it slightly to make it easier. You can just drill the holes out if you need to.
Okay.
This little the brass thing there.
Uh huh.
The idea is put it in that way.
Uh huh.
So there's a bar there.
Right.
When you put the axle in, you have to tweak it, obviously bend it and get it so it's just right. But you want it so when the chassis is resting,
Uh huh.
when it's level, that's literally just touching the axle or just a fart above it. That's basically what you're after.
Okay, no worries.
You'll have to tweak it so you get the characteristics you need. I'm just going to glue that in. Just bent it down a bit.
Yeah. Oh, bullet. Sorry. Put my hand to the thing.
Sorry, what?
I glued my fingers to the thing.
You numpty.
That's not very nice. No. Yeah, we are very nice to each other, aren't
Of course we are.
we?
Oh yeah. Let me see. Ben, are you still in the chat there? Because I want to ask you a quick question here. You see this super glue accelerator? Oh, hang on, get my camera up here. The super glue accelerator, which I'm using here. Can I get this at Screwfix, or do I have to get it from, like, as it says here, from Expo Tools and that there? Because I mean, I know that they kind of add about £10 more if you're posting, like, aerosols and that there. So just want to know here. Can I get this super glue activator spray from Screwfixes or anywhere else? I think I did ask you this during the Tugs weekend, but I can't remember.
Sorry.
Quite difficult to bend the correct profile.
Mm.
I think I expected
Difficult to glue the correct profile for me.
Eh?
I'm saying for me, it's difficult to glue the correct profile.
Max, which Tom are you referring to?
Who?
Max is asking a question for Tom, from one of the Toms here. Is it Tom Biddle or Tom Jensky?
Sorry, I realised I'm actually modelling outside the frame. Yeah.
Oh, here, Sean's just answered the question. Screwfix do a version, I believe. Look at my brand. B&M, maybe? Didn't know B&M did super glue activator. Let's take a look at it next time I'm done.
I should remember to stay in this. So what I'm basically doing is just super gluing a Wagon body together. what I used to tend to do sometimes, buy the grounded body van kit so I could scratch build and make them runnable. I mean, ready to run, basically.
Uh-huh.
Because they go quite. These are actually the cheaper kits. Like this one was only like 12 quid.
Really? For O gauge?
Well, yeah. I mean, there's no wheels or anything. There's no WRIs or. It's basically a grounded kit, but I get to add those on later on if I want to.
Nice.
So it's sold as a grounded wagon, is it?
Yeah.
That's strange. I mean, I know with 10 mil, it's annoying because they charge you a fortune for a kit, and then you got to buy the wheels and all the fittings separately. So it's astronomical price for a kit, and then
True.
they're not made in huge quantities, and then you got to spend that again just on all the wheels and stuff.
Because O-gauge, you do get the wheels in most kits. I mean, I had a status break.
Arsenal. Don't know if anybody got that reference there.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear it.
All right, it's a Morecambe and Wise. You know the comedians Morecambe and Wise.
Yeah.
Right. It's a bit of like a running joke there. If one of them, if like say Ernie Wise coughs, his partner Eric Morecambe, he would shout Arsenal. The football team. I don't know why. It's just a bit of a random thing. So if anybody just coughed, you would just go like Arsenal.
Do you remember the episode where Francis Matthews came on? He did his Cary Grant impression, which is also the voice he does for Captain Scarlet.
Yes, yeah. In fact, it's actually on YouTube. You can actually see it on YouTube.
Yeah. I've always tried to do that voice, but it's always. I'd love to sound like that,
Mm.
His Cary Grant had a very distinctive way of speaking, didn't he?
Yeah.
It sounded like it. I don't know.
You have a gravelly, you have a grainy type of voice in some way.
His accent was always muddled up, I find.
He used to talk like that all the time.
Yeah.
Stuff like this.
Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere the lamb went, the Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Sounds like Brooklyn in some ways, or New York.
Yeah.
Manhattan.
I don't know what it is, but I think Francis Matthews did a better version of Cary Grant than Cary Grant did. Like he made it sound good and classy.
I've made a cock up.
How?
You see, I've got the wheels in the front.
Yeah.
I forgot to add washers because we got all this fucking side play, and that's no good when you've got cylinders and crossheads. Bugger.
Right.
Take the wheel off. All right.
Time to break out the wheel puller.
Yeah. Although the problem is, I don't have a shim, which means it risks pulling the tire off. So I'm like,
By the way, I need to actually order one of those here. You got yours from GWR Models, didn't you?
Yeah.
Do you have to ring them up though, or do you have to?
I don't know, because I looked before and I couldn't seem to find the number that I found, but I did find the guy at the show, or rather somebody else at the show who deals with them.
Right.
I don't know whether this was temporarily out of it or what.
Because I mean, I tried to order one from a German manufacturer there, but they didn't send it to my address properly. They kept getting lost in transit all the time. And I emailed them complaining about this here, but they said but it was sent to the address. And I was like, but no, it's not. It hasn't. I haven't seen it. It hasn't arrived yet. To which point they then sent me an email back some months afterwards saying, oh yeah, we got reports saying that it wasn't sent to the right address, so we apologize.
Well, I suppose at least I had a funny story, and at least you got a refund.
No, I didn't get it. I didn't get a refund.
Oh, this is not Daisy.
You see this?
No. No. This was something else. There was a different buy. Yeah. With the camera set on you, there, Gav. So.
Fiddly's anything.
So you
what
had
we should
stuff
really
sent
do
to
is
the
get a
wrong
crash
address
sim for
more than
that.
once. Wow.
Because it has risk of taking the tower off, but I'm going to risk it. Because I don't have a crash sim. I can't bother to scratch build one at the moment, so wish me luck. Hopefully, I won't pull the tower off. I'll actually pop the wheel off the axle, which is what I'm trying to do. And it looks like it's successful. So, yes, happy days. I'm lucky as anything. There we go. Worth its money in gold. Worth its weight in gold. Because before I used to just jam them on, force them, and pull them, and then end up bending everything.
Yeah.
It's best to just get the right tools. Thing is, I didn't even know this thing existed. Right, washers.
Oh, no.
These are what I'm using.
Ah. Good old Romford.
Yep. I've got a lifetime supply of these things, and the Pico fibre ones. Just bought a massive bulk load, and you never seem to run out. It's great.
Yay!
Yeah, if you say so.
No, I'm talking myself, sorry, because I'm in trouble gluing this thing together. I remember years ago when I was at uni, I tried making. I mean, I know you shouldn't bring model making into uni time, but I did for a little bit. I tried making my own Strathmill coaches. I mean wagons. So what I would do is I'll go to the hobby shop. I would buy bits of wood and some plastic, and then make the sides.
Yeah.
And then I'd make the molds from what I now know is a bad mistake is liquid latex. Oh, for God's sake, stay still. Sorry, guys. Yeah. Oh, right. And then I'll just also get the resin, make resin copies, and it didn't always work, but basically what I was trying to do was make a bunch of wagons that you weren't really made anymore. So because there's a company that made a lot of LBSC stuff. There's a few old Victorian type wagons and things that were unpreserved. He mostly just tried to make them from a reference photograph, and I think there's only one. So we had to try and improvise and try and. You can't build this this sort of van body, but you can't really see it apart from just you can't really see the wheels or anything. You can't see.
Yeah.
Although it's technically an LBSC van because it's technically Victorian engine pulling it. He's had to improvise things like W irons, things like the underframe, that kind of thing. Yeah. So essentially, he's invented a new wagon.
I'm going to try for 6 of these on each side.
Okay.
0.005 inch.
Yeah, I suppose, Tom, is there any drawings for the any of the like flat wagons or anything?
Who, me?
Yeah, for the original Thomas props or
What, these ones?
yeah, or just the any size really, just
what drawings for the flat wagons?
Yeah.
What TV series accurate or?
Yeah.
No, because they were scratch built. But I had a theory, and I've never been able to prove it. But 10 mil around the same time as them making the flat wagons, they had a kit of a flat wagon, of which they had one, I believe.
Hmm.
And it was later seen in the series, and it looked very similar to the others, but it had oval buffers and a white metal buffer beam, I think, which had all the riveting on it. And I speculate that what they did was they had one kit and thought, oh, well, these are easy to copy, and probably made, you know, 4 copies of just all the wooden parts to sort of mimic it.
Yeah.
So yeah, there aren't any drawings that I know of, but if I can ever get one of these flat wagons, I might be able to put that theory to the test. But yeah, I mean, it's relatively easy. I mean, I made this one about 7 years ago. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
But I did later find out the measurements are slightly off. Not sideways, surprisingly, but height-ways, it's marginally too tall. So I'll have to start from scratch one of these days. But it was quite, when I built it, once you've got all the bits cut up, it's quite easy to glue together, those flat wagons.
Yeah. I imagine
So, one day when I've not got so many other projects on the go, I'll make a batch of 4 of them, I think, because that's how many they had originally. I don't know how many they had in the hit era. They must have had about 8 of them.
Right.
Well, I've no idea why this isn't gluing properly.
What type of glue are you using?
Just super glue.
Oh.
I'll just stick it there.
By the way, Sean, if you're still in the chat there, mate, I just saw your post on Twitter there. Edward looks really good now so far.
Funny you should say that. I saw it as well.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. It really does.
I must have a look at it.
It just needs filler.
Yeah, it just needs filler. Yeah, I'm jealous of that model now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's good.
Sean, did you get your boiler sorted out? I've not seen Twitter yet.
Yeah, he's got the boiler and all on.
Ah, cool.
Yeah, the boiler's the hard thing because you've got to cut it out. I mean, if it was to be a static model, which obviously this isn't, you probably could get away with just cutting the boiler really crudely on the inside. But yeah, I know when I cut mine, I had to make sure every possible millimeter of space was free because I was, you know, I haven't actually fitted the electrics to my Thomas yet, but internally they should be the same dimensions to what they had in 1984, and I dare say equipment's got a lot better since with smaller servo motors and things like that.
Yeah.
I had the same problem with my it's acrylic tube you're cutting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's this stuff from EMA, which they call it Engineering Modeling Associates, and they've got one at not far from me. I don't know if you can see all these tubes here, but that's as a result of me needing various tube sizes for my replicas, not just Thomas, but very useful to have. They're all in imperial sizes, but they're all designed to sort of fit inside of one another. And EMA was mainly for engineering modelers who doing, you know, models of you know, oil rigs and things like that, and they needed to make like a scale model to ensure everything fit together perfectly. This is the days before CAD, so yeah, they used them a lot on Thomas originally.
Right.
Very distinct color of plastic.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at my model. I don't know what it is, but it looks. I don't know if it's the roof or it's the pieces themselves, but it's a bit unlined with when they're together.
Oh, sorry.
The roof and the body shell, they're not really aligned. They're kind of, when you put the roof onto the body shell, it looks like either the roof's wrong or the.
Is it much out, or I mean,
well, it's not so much out. It goes off to one side. If it makes sense. It's all kind of like.
Because sometimes, you know, if it's a bit bent, a bit of a heat with a hairdryer can bend it, make it bendable just enough that you can put it back into the right shape.
Okay. I did wonder about that actually. Yeah.
Or warm water is another way, but I find hairdryers a bit more effective.
I've cocked up again.
What have we done now?
That's too many washes. It's trial and error, isn't it? You know, you don't really know until you do it. Try again.
Start again.
Yeah, I hope this don't put people off kit building, because believe me, as slow as this is, it's still quicker than soldering it.
Yeah. Because I mean, building this house here as well. Like, I mean, I'm trying to get the walls here lined up and so it's all square, and I just realized there's some parts when I'm putting these cornerstone things in here, it's kind of, I didn't realize it's kind of knocking it off square. So I'm trying to get it all square so it all lines up properly. By the way, I'm just so you know, in case anybody's wondering here, I bought this whole bundle of like strip wood for making up any of my buildings and wooden structures out there. So I've been making like the carriage sheds and so forth using this stuff. So that was like a whole load of pine strips, 2x2 millimeter by 45 millimeters long or more. For
That
about
must have cost you a bit. That must have cost you a bit.
About £8 35.
That's not bad.
Yeah, you got. I think there's like maybe 100 strips here.
Whenever I seem to want to buy wood, it's always £5 or £6 a strip.
Yeah.
Probably a bit bigger than what you're using, but
yeah. So so what I have here, like I've got ones that like the 2x2 ones here, and then I've got the ones here which are 2x5. So like they're in planks, so I can make things a wee bit easier. But these are kind of like matchsticks scales. You know what I mean? Who's this house for? This is the Farquhar Station Master's house, which I'm making. Max, just in case you're wondering.
Just look what you've done
to our breakfast.
I was going to say that would be a good sign to put on your when you've gone to lunch. Just say, "Oh, Thomas has crashed into the station master's house. Just gone off to get some more breakfast."
Yeah.
Just gone off to cook some more.
That's what I was going to ask actually. The large scale Thomas that was used throughout the breakfast scene.
Yeah.
The crash of the house. Is that he's got the smiley face on, isn't he? Or was he?
Oh, I can't remember. I'd have to have a look at photos.
Because obviously, like I know that I think they only built one face, didn't they?
Yeah, and I think it was used. I think it was also used for Duck as well in a close shave.
The face. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. But it was a rubber. It was a rubber face, though, wasn't it?
A what?
Was it a rubber face?
No. It was plaster, I think, or fiberglass. Yeah.
This bit's really fun. I was singing the sad song.
Be right back, Thomas Kraskin.
Oh dear.
What was it I want to try and make a mug of at some point? Because you can buy these. You can make up these custom mugs. See, during the time when I was making Brightline engines, I actually I've been drawing like storyboards, and I was making up these animatics using them. But at the same time, I also downloaded some of the train simulator models. And there was one, I think I remember, which I think it was the German engines one of Thomas. And I love the little joke that they actually put in the cab where it has this little mug. And it just says on it here, "I like my breakfast in my engine, but not on it." Not the opposite way around. I thought myself, I would love to actually I actually would like to make a mug that actually has that said on it.
Oh, really cool, yeah.
Be a nice little joke. Don't care if anybody doesn't get the reference, it'll still be funny to me.
Oh, no.
Something wrong, Tom?
No. Oh, no. I've got glue on it.
What are you doing?
Well, I'll be back in 5 minutes. I'm just going to have to consult the some screenshots of how I'm going to glue this final bit of the brake rigging on.
No worries.
Yeah, sorry. No, I've just been I'm super gluing the bits of
Why did you not use plastic weld?
I don't have it.
Mate, you need to have it. You need to have it. It doesn't.
I used it once
It's a
before.
professional choice, isn't it?
Well, I
Plastic
used it-
weld or butane or Metpack.
I've used it once before, but I glued the lid on to the thing, so I couldn't get it out. Oh well. I'll just have to clean it more, and if it's only going to be the one bit here that's going to have those support bars anyway, because the other side's got a painted face on it.
Yeah.
It's the only wagon I'm doing this for.
Just doing that blow test I mentioned earlier. Teasing a very, very slight wobble out. You see where it's like wobbling, just tease it out.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'll say. Okay.
Just needs a little nick every now and again.
Be right back. Thomas crashed again.
Right.
That's what I do.
Not me. That's why I'm reading Ben's comment.
All right, Max. I'll answer the question here. Hang on. Let's see. Where is it? Where's my glasses here? Because I can't see it. Ugh.
The glasses?
Of course I wear glasses. See? Glasses. Let's see. Where's the question? Who might the house be owned by? Oh, that's right. That's already answered that one. Oh, by paint. Tom Moses. Question for Tom J. Okay, Thomas Jeski. What painter did you use for your O gauge Thomas the 10 gauge, and specifically the blue from Citadel? I am in the process of moving to acrylics, better for my health.
Oh, is that for me or is that for Tom Jeski?
It'd probably be for you, Tom B.
Because you're making the O gauge, Thomas.
I'm using the one that Gav uses for his.
Goodness.
I've stolen his idea.
No, I've not got enough.
Well,
I had it too bloody rigid, and now I've still got. Oh, bleh. Oh, take the wheel off again. Once I've got the setting, I'll remember the bloody thing.
To be fair, question back to the blue. What I usually use actually is epoxy resin. It's just fun with this stuff. I can just do it quite quickly. Just to tack it together. Just to sort of tack it. Yeah. Then I get the epoxy resin and then just color the rest of it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Good.
And if it doesn't, tough.
I'll explain it again.
Yeah, because I mean, like last time we've been getting like constant questions about what shade of blue do we use, and we've answered them. We kept answering the questions there, but I don't know if it ever hit home to anyone. But yeah,
Phoenix Precision Network Southeast Light Blue. That's the blue I use.
and for my
everybody else seems to be using.
for my Thomas, I use Humbrol World War One blue.
Okay.
I made a double O Thomas before a couple of years ago, but I used Tamier's medium blue. And I was tempted to use it for this, but I quite like the idea, because O gauge, I quite like the idea of a happier looking blue.
Okay.
But I was still trying to work out, I don't know what to use for the footplate, because it's either a grey or white, but I quite like it to have a sort of distinct look, really.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of using the same grey that I used to paint my wagon roofs with, or the one I used to paint Andy and Clara's roof.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm worried about it clashing, or maybe it's too dark. It's a mud brown colour. but it looks quite, it comes out looking quite great.
Yeah.
Excuse me. That wasn't for attention. I actually needed to cough.
Thank you.
No worries.
Sticking it on again. This time there's 5 washers on each side. So if this is wrong, then you want to try as 4. And if that don't work, then I'm a bit stuffed. I'll have to figure out what to do.
Right. I'm just checking the time now here. So we'll carry on for about we'll carry on until about 10:30, and we'll wrap up.
Really? Yeah, I've not done a lot tonight, apart from just trying to find this Allen key.
I'm sure it will turn up at some point, Tom.
I've only got to, the thing is that I've got to be there by 9 o'clock in the morning, so it's like. Luckily, it's just down the road from where I live, but still, it's like. I don't know. Still got to. Well, I've got a wagon body roughly done. Well, work out how to get this roof to fit properly, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll find some W irons for it and get some more stuff for the coach I'm going to build, and
yeah,
some more get some shoulder so I can actually do some more brass work. And is that guillotine, Mike?
No, this is a wee chopper. It's like a wee miniature, like that's there really. So you can buy these from like hobby tool manufacturers there. So I got this from a manufacturer called Micro Mark, and I think it was like from Australia. So I had to pay a wee bit extra for it. But I saw it on this guy, this YouTuber called Luke Towan, and he does these really good scenery videos, like how to make your own scenery. And his methods are really good. But he mostly uses this item to make to cut any like plastic card or wood. And I decided I might as well get this here for my workbench, and it works really well actually. So
So Tom, John Jessica, on your wagon, what do you use for balancing weights and things on your?
For what? Sorry, balancing weights.
Yeah.
How do you mean? What, like lead and stuff?
Yeah, because I mean, what I do with mine basically is I improvise it. So, inside the wagon body, once I put the floor in, I put some white metal pieces inside, and then.
No, I don't put anything. Believe it or not.
Okay.
And I'll say the original ones don't have anything inside them either for balancing weights.
You can. I thought not, because you can tell really by the.
I mean, I've always wondered if I was to be an insanely serious modeler, whether or not you could calculate the scale weight of an item, and put them in each wagon, like precisely weighted.
Yeah.
So what would the scale weight of 7 or 8 tons be in an empty van, or something like that?
I used to use old pennies that I didn't want anymore, and I just put use
Well,
those.
that's a good use for them. There's not much other good use for them, to be honest.
No.
I use these.
All right.
You got car balance weights. One's half the size of that, better. Other than that, just like lead offcuts.
Yeah.
Plus, I've got the ball bearing stuff as well.
I use the spares from the coach kits and things.
Oh, fluid lead. Yeah, I've used those.
Some white metal casting, because it seems a bit of a waste to put them inside the kit, because you can melt them down and make them into something else.
Yeah.
I guess that's true.
You could make white metal seats for out of your mold if you really wanted to.
That's true. What I do with my wagon is there's an underframe piece that comes with the kit. I make white metal cuttings of that. I might have a few cuttings here actually somewhere. Aha, yeah.
Right,
so what I've done here is that's the latex mold I made using there's a piece that came with the Pico kit, so I copied that, and then poured in some white metal, made that.
Oh, nice.
And I made a batch of them. And it's quite easy once you get used to it, but you do have to find a good way of heating it up.
Yeah. No, there are kits you can buy. I've never done it. I'd like to. I mean, the one benefit is if the cast doesn't turn out, you just have to melt it down again.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I suppose is useful if you're making something that's very delicate and very hard to make. I will say the little figurines used in Thomas were made originally out of resin, but the later ones were made out of white metal, which I can only assume is because they, they wanted to make.
I read in an interview there, but like, there was like some figures in Series 1 were made from lead, but then others were made out of plasticine. And it was I can't remember who it was, which interviewer it was, but he says that there was one episode, probably Chris Nolan, where he says that it was either in James and the Express when they literally got everything all ready to go, and they're just about to say they're about to shout action when they look through the camera lens and they just see this massive pool of color dripping down from the station platform. And it turns out the heat of the lights was so big it just melted the people.
Yeah, well, what happened? They wanted a crowd scene, and they had a lot of figures, but not enough to make up a crowd. So they sort of said to Christopher Nolan, "No, we want a big crowd of figurines." So we made them up, and they said, "We don't care how you make them; just make them within like 20 minutes."
Yeah.
So they made a load of them out of plasticine, gave them to him. He says, no, these aren't going to last under the lights." And they're like, "No, it's fine, it's fine." So they put them in, and they shot the scene. And just as they'd finished shooting the scene, that was when
they all melted.
Apparently, the director of photography was looking through the eyepiece and saw them all drooping to one side, melting.
Right.
Yeah, they were. They weren't meant to last.
It'd be real like that. The villain from what was it, Real Cop or something? He gets the acid poured over, and he's just like all this. He's just dripping. All his his skin's just dripping off him, man. And you just see him racing up to like a car or something. He's just going, "Help me! Help me! Oh my god!"
Yeah.
But yeah, they're made of resin originally, I believe, and then it was Series 3 they started doing them out of white metal, and then when they did Series 8 and they put the more fine detailed miniature figures with little noses and things, they were done in resin again. So it was a bit of a strange operation.
All right.
But,
this is the awkward bit.
Anyway, enough of me chatting about the TV series.
No, I never really like the figurines, to be honest.
Well, I think I've grown to love them.
They just weren't realistic enough.
Well, I think that was the point, really, because I mean, Britt Allcroft said that they were actually meant to portray vintage, like old Victorian tin soldiers.
Yeah, I've never been able to get to the bottom of what the actual basis was, but yeah, they wanted them to look like toys.
Yeah, because Britt Allcroft posted on her Facebook something like a scan or a photograph from a flyer that she gave out to some folks, and it talked about like the making of Thomas, and it said like the people out there, they were meant to represent tin soldiers. That's what it said. That's what it said in the text.
Oh, interesting.
Well, I think the context was model trains. They're quite clearly model trains because they weren't stop frame animation. They couldn't have done it. They had to be shot live as model trains.
Yeah.
Moving along with the smoke and everything. So they thought, well, if it's a model train set, then surely if it's all going to be stylized in sort of 1940s kind of toy world, then the figurines should sort of be in keeping with that. So yeah, they went to sort of toy figurines and sort of mimics that style of, as they say, toy soldiers.
Funny, there's a story I read about Ivor Wood who did Postman Pat, and when they were actually making Postman Pat, the BBC actually sent a letter to Ivor saying that they want to have more animation shots of the countryside. So they want to have footage of like loads of cows and sheep and all in the hillside, not they're all grazing away whilst you see Pat traveling around. And this required a lot of animation to do, and back then animation was very expensive because
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So it was sorry.
Now I'm just saying, that struggle where you have to like thread the wheel or the axle through the bush, through the freaking gearbox, put a cog on, through the gearbox again, and then through the other end.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I have to remember that when I do my build.
Yeah, it's just a pain.
Yeah.
16 hands.
So anyway, so they wanted all this here. So Ivorwood came up with this clever idea of having like this sort of projected projection image that would show on the set, and he drew up this very clever plan of how it could be done. And he went to all this big mass detail out there, and saying like every time when he takes a frame, the film footage would then move a frame as well, so that when you play it back, it'll be in sync. So that's how he all planned out there. And then at the very end of the letter, it sounds as if like they were going to do it. To which point Ivor then says, "But unfortunately, we can't do this here because the budget doesn't imply that. So we might have to do something a bit simpler." So
well, it's the BBC. What do you think? What do you expect?
Yeah, but
they always wanted it done really cheaply.
But with the point, like that he actually, Ivor takes his time to actually plan out the entire thing.
What was he planning to do? Back projection?
Yeah, like back projection and stuff like that.
They're projecting an image, and then in the background, and then the foreground layer would be physically there.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, because I've practiced that before actually.
There's also what they call those glass plates that they used to put in the foreground sometimes of shots.
Yeah, that's what they used to do years ago for matte paintings. Because I know, like Ray Harryhausen, he used that quite a lot for his films.
Yeah, I was mentioning that.
Oh,
yeah, and I don't know if they used that for Willis O'Brien's King Kong. I'm not sure.
I don't know if any of you guys on here know about the Famous Five, the 1970s TV
Yes,
series.
oh, I love that show. I loved it. Actually,
and there's
I had a video.
The Spook Train episode,
yes,
which was done in a military railway, and they didn't have a tunnel. So what they did, they built part of an arch, but the actual shot of the tunnel is actually a matte painting, and they put a little bit of a branch in the foreground just to give it a bit of movement.
Well, funny is that I actually remember hearing that there was like some viewers complaining because you couldn't really see exactly what was going on in some scenes because all the nighttime shots were filmed during the day. They had to put like a black plate or something over the camera lens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they didn't look good, but especially bad when they're on VHS and they were a really bad transfer of the film.
Yeah, so you had to have a television that could actually show more that sort of kind of stuff clearer. In a way. And I remember I used to have a television that did show some scenes that helped made it more easier for me to see what was going on in the episode.
But it was kind of when they brought that box set out, it was kind of, I guess, like people have been petitioning, like the Tugs, I guess, for that to come out for years.
Yeah.
To bring out the Famous Five on DVD. And eventually they did, and they did a really nice job, I think, with the 4-disc set.
I must see about getting that at some point because it was
it's been heavily reduced now.
Yeah.
Nice. No, it's a nice package that they've put together. With
it kind of looks like a wee Atlas book or something, doesn't it?
Yeah. No, I've got it downstairs somewhere. I watched them all in order, which was nice, but I'll have to catch up again with it. But yeah, I just remember I got into it because of that episode with the Spook Train, because it's got a train on the cover of the video. So naturally, I was gonna want to borrow it from our local library.
Give me a second. I'll just be back in a minute here. Hold on a second.
Just piddling about, trying to quarter it.
Yeah, well, we should get somewhere with yours.
Eh?
At least you're getting somewhere with yours, I was saying.
Yeah, slowly. Like I said, it's not a quick process by any means, but nice if it's faster.
Try to find out how you Right, so it's definitely not the body shell. Body shell's fine. It's mostly the roof. So I reckon it's been cut wrong. I might try a technique after all, Tom. We're just using the hairdryer. Oh yeah. Remember, guys, this is the tow brake van I bought a couple of weeks back.
Nice.
What I've done with it so far, all I've done so far is basically just it's a Lima model, same as the all I've done basically is just painted the underframes. I've given them metal wheels and white metal buffers, and of course spring couplings. So I don't know why. Actually, I do know why. It's because Lima has this thing where they use the American coupling hook system, and they have these ugly boxes underneath where they have the little hooks connected to. So I've had to cut all that off, open the hole so I can put the coupling spring through, and yeah.
Coupling broke, did it?
I'm thinking Shanko did. He's been dying. But
So that's gonna be Toad, is it?
yeah, I mean, I might get a kit at some point and do a better version, because I mean, there's so much. The thing with Lima is they got so much printed plastic where it's like handrails are printed plastic as well, and that's hard to cut off. And you're going to probably see a lot of imperfections on this, like even when painted. So this is just a little. I guess I'm using it as like experience, a little test project. So, but I did manage to get another, like, I did manage to get the golden bear face, and there we are.
Wow, that fits nicely.
Yeah, I was surprised at that actually. I was thinking that's just spot on. And then actually, like, I mean,
Oh, cool.
when Diesel 10 TV made his closed eye space, he asked me what the measurements were, so I told him, and he got that done for me. So.
Perfect.
Yikes!
Nice one.
He looks like he's stuck in a sneeze frame or something.
Yeah, you can always have like do a stop motion thing where you just have him sneeze.
That'd be a good storyline actually. Like, you know, I mean, so it could be the breakdown of this train. Thomas gets pushed down the hill.
Yeah.
They stop just by the edge of this cliff.
Yeah.
And then Toad finally sneezes and he goes, achoo! And then like the whole train.
Yeah.
Or something. Yeah, I don't know.
This is my one.
Your Toad break one?
Yeah, I've got to repaint it one day. Someone else had built it, so there's a million little alterations I want to make it more accurate. As the positioning of the buffers is slightly different, so that's going to be a nightmare, and various holes that need filling, bits that need taking off, bits that need adding on. But yeah, I think he'll look really nice when I've done him, but he's a long way down the list. Oh dear.
Yours is actually at a stage I want mine to be, to be honest.
Sorry?
Yours is at a stage I kind of want mine to be, actually, like the handrails and.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was nicely done by whoever made it originally, but it's the wrong livery. But 10mm still make the decals apparently, so I bought a set of those. So I've got the right numbering. It's actually quite funny, you know, the decals for Toad. I mean, the specific number that Toad has in the show is just one of 5 or 6 options that 10mm give you. Yeah. So it's a random number which 10mm chose that they ended up sticking on the prop on the show. And then when the Mid-Hants Railway painted their Toad van up to look like Toad from Thomas, they actually chose that number. Because I don't know whether they'd actually lost the original number for their Toad brake van, but they renumbered it anyway. And so, yeah, supposedly the genuine Toad from Thomas is the one at the Mid-Hants Railway.
That's incredible.
But when they repainted it, it was in Great Western livery, and it was in a really light British Railways unfitted grey livery. And I said to them, no, Toad is meant to be dark, because they had Great Western on the side, but it was the wrong tone of grey. So when they repainted it, I said, no, it has to be darker grey. And they painted it in the first coat, and it was too light. And I said, no, it has to be darker.
Oh, God.
And so they went darker, and it wasn't quite as dark as it should be for Great Western colours. But and then to top it off, I was rather annoyed. I went there one day, and it had British Railways lettering on it. So there was I trying to get it to look like the Great Western version of Toad with the Great Western lettering. And it had the Great Western lettering before, but on British Railways grey. And now it was in Great Western grey, and it had British Railways lettering. So there was no winning, unfortunately.
Never was over Railways, unfortunately.
But who knows, if everyone petitions to the Mid-Hants Railway to repaint their Toad, I'll happily do it.
Yeah. Well, I read a I don't know if you heard this story. I mean, this is a friend of Chris Eden Green's. He raised a lot of money to try and get the 3F that was painted as Thomas to be restored.
Is that the Ginty?
Yeah, the Ginty at the I think it was at the Midland Railway sometime.
Yeah, they got 4 of them there.
Yeah, but unfortunately, he got done over, as in they used the money from the fund to pay to fix a pathway.
Fix a what?
Fix a pathway. You know.
Oh right.
So they use it to fix. You know, they use the money for something else. Oh, that's it.
Well, that's annoying.
Yeah, stupid. I keep thinking, if that was, I don't know how it works, but you think.
Well, if I was the one raising the money, I would have said, no, you're not getting the money unless you put it towards this.
Yeah.
Camera set.
Yeah, hold on.
I mean, I suppose at the end of the day, it's all for a good cause, really. It's all going to charity, but I think it's kind of deceiving if the money went to the wrong cause.
Yeah. I think it went to the right place. They just used it for something else, which is not.
Got movement.
Guys, what movement?
It's the start of it needs obviously pissing about to get it right. But
Wow.
That's good so far, mate.
Well, at least you're having better luck than me.
Start with them.
Awesome.
Someone trying to do sound effects, are they?
What, sorry?
Someone trying to do sound effects.
Oh. No, I was whistling the Pablo theme song, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I voice one of the characters on Pablo there, and Tom's a bit of a fan of it.
All right.
Yeah, I just think it's the best show for autism, ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, we're allowed to model a terrier in larger scale. Yes, Max, because I think you're terrier obsessed.
Wait a second, Max. Have you not already made a terrier at that scale, at a large scale?
Wait a minute. Is this Max, the terrier, the Stepney guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, Max Davies. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the chat there now.
Yeah.
All right. Hi there, Max. Yeah, no, I met him at the Bluebell Railway, surprise, last year. Probably just checking up on his friend, Stepney, which is sadly probably not going to turn a wheel again.
Oh, why not?
Well, he's knackered. He's they say that in order to get him running again, he needs a new everything, basically.
Oh,
so there's options whether to totally rebuild him to the extent of Flying Scotsman, or just to build a totally brand new terrier called Stepney, and to keep the original one in the museum, because apparently the wheels need replacing, the boiler needs replacing, the cylinders need replacing. I mean, they're all Victorian components that have just only now reached the end of their serviceable life.
How's that looking?
Which I think is a shame, really.
Yeah, that's great, Gav. Yeah. Wow.
That's scary, actually. Like to think that.
We should do a campaign, shouldn't we?
What they
Restore Stepney as Stepney.
It makes you wonder though, because I mean the thing is they restore these engines for future generations, but then you kind of think if they're all going to end up like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, have you noticed how few Victorian engines there are running now? I mean, you know, now there's a lot of British Railways engines running.
Yeah, you wouldn't see any you wouldn't see a Victorian loco doing the
Well, City of Truro have been on the main line for 10 years now, and you know, to think that used to do mainline trips, I mean, it couldn't pull as much, which I dare say is a factor. But you know, the way they put it back in the museum, I think it's one of those engines that really deserves to be running, like Flying Scotsman.
Yeah.
But there are many engines. It occurs to me a lot of the ones that come out of the National Railway Museum, they basically use them for 10, 20 years until they get knackered, and then they just put them back in the museum.
Oh, that's yeah. I mean, the boiler certificate only lasts like 10 years anyway.
Yeah.
But it depends on how many times you use it.
I mean, the way I look at it, I mean, some of these engines have had such drastic rebuilds, but at the end of the day, they've had a continuous history. So, you know, if Stepney had a new boiler, I mean, as long as he looks like Stepney down to the nearest rivet and he's accurately portrayed, you know, I don't see why they can't just make new parts that are absolutely identical to the original ones.
Well, they did do that to Terrier on the Isle of Wight. Funny enough.
Yeah, they made new boilers for both of them, I think. But I guess that's a different committee running a different railway with a different idea, because over there, those are two of their main engines, whereas on the Bluebell, they've extended to East Grinstead, have a much longer line, and a tank engine isn't like Stepney isn't really ideal.
No, shame really.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they've got a private little group that's restoring their other P-class engine, which it seems from the pictures it looks like there's barely anything left from it. But I think it's good what they're doing, because it's, you know, when you make brand new components, then hopefully they will last for another 100 years.
Yeah.
Little tip for everybody: copper-clad sleeper strip. Use that for your pickups as like a base pad.
Okay.
It's not easy.
I can't wait to see Beachy Head. That's gonna be amazing.
Oh, it'll be amazing when they do Beachy Head. And it's already starting to look like an engine, which excites me greatly.
Which one?
I just wish I'd won the lottery. Otherwise, I'd give them some money towards it to get it done quicker.
Yeah, well, you can use it by the rest of you can use it by the rest of the truck, really, couldn't you?
Yeah. Yeah. It better watch out if I win the lottery. They won't know what hit them.
Yeah.
That was a bad joke.
It's like, quick, check what's he bought.
They won't know what hit them.
All right. No, I'm just wondering, like, yeah, it's like I'd be like, you know, wait, Tom Jesky's won the lottery. Oh my god, what the hell's he bought?
Yeah, bought the whole company. Yeah, actually, you need more than the lottery to buy Thomas. Let me say that. It's such a huge, huge brand.
Yeah.
But it was funny, you know, that reminds me of another bad joke that someone had. I don't know if any of you have LinkedIn, but I was just looking through profiles on LinkedIn relating to Hit Entertainment, and one of the ones that popped up was just some empty profile that someone did for a joke, and it just said, former hitman at Hit Entertainment. And I thought, oh, that's great. So they've got a hitman at Hit Entertainment.
Blimey.
A hitman at Hit Entertainment. That's
Hitman, yeah.
What was it? Well, I remember on Twitter they actually had it for Jamfil. They had a guy called Jam Man. It's basically this little done-up Action Man figure, or G.I. Joe.
Oh, right. I vaguely remember that.
Right. I'm just going to put my camera on here for a sec here. Right, what I'm doing right now here is I'm actually making the hip roof of the Station Master's house. If you look at the illustrations here, it's got this hip roof structure. So I'm trying to make this here up. So this is when I made this build, the original building, my original Station Master's house, which now is Starbug Productions has it now. I remember I had quite a bit of a troubled time just trying to make that up from balsa wood. So trying to get this made up using whatever plastic card tiles I have here, it's going to be quite tricky. So, oh joy!
okay, guys, bear with me.
I don't see a bear with you.
There's no bear. Holy Toledo, Tom!
Oh,
extreme!
watch out, Ringo.
Blimey.
That didn't work.
Don't tell me you're trying to reenact the actual demise of the E2s here in an O gauge.
We've got that sad music. Like, yeah, that violin music, you know.
Oh, that's from what was it? The Alpha Man.
Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to use the soldering iron instead because sadly, what I was going to try and do was what I've done is I've put these are the tank filler caps. I've put some solder on the back of them.
Uh-huh.
I was hoping if I got them hot enough, they might just sink into the spot.
All right.
But
That's not hot enough.
If I do that, if I do that, the whole thing's gonna get hot and it'll come undone. So,
I love Ben's power mention there.
Put
Just
your
he
camera.
just has power. Jeremy Clarkson style. All right, Gavin. There you go. You got camera now.
Right, cool. What I've done is the copper clad sleeper strip. There's different ways of doing pickups, but there's a simple way of doing it.
Okay.
Literally cut it to piece. I've just glued it on top of the frame there, which that piece will go inside because obviously there's a gap. So it's not going to conflict. And then what I'll do is I'll solder some pickup wire from there onto this wheel, onto that wheel as wipers, and obviously just solder the motor tags to it.
Yeah. See the cavity there underneath the bodywork, is that similar to this? Is that similar to my one? No.
Yours is straight here.
Yeah.
I cut this extra piece out.
Okay.
Because I found out you could fit the Peckett chassis a little bit easier if you cut that bit out. That's all.
Okay, that's fine.
I've done the new ones have that bit cut out anyway.
All right, but the cavity you have there, is it very same to my one? Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Apart from that extra bit.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right. It's just because like when I was foaming it up there, like that, I didn't want to cause any more, open up a bit more in case it opens up where the springs are.
Springs? What do you mean?
Well, the side springs, balance springs underneath the tank.
What, these?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, because I mean, when I had it before, like there was only like a 1 millimeter gap of material behind that there.
I mean,
afterwards.
Do you know about for the pickup strip?
Sorry.
Do you mean for the pickup strip?
No. I mean for when I was making the cavity in Tinkercad.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there wasn't really. I only had to open up as much as I could open up to, because if I made it any wider, it would have opened up that section.
I don't know what to say about that, to be honest.
Okay, Lewis Gravenail says, any recommendations for weathering a plastic shed? Yeah, basically you can get plastic washes from various paint manufacturers. Humber will do some very good washes. I use both those, but I also use the Games Workshop type ones, or the Citadel type ones. These ones here. Tom uses those as well. So I use those, and sometimes dry brushing acrylic paint works, or you can actually. Well, also, I actually found it works as well. Is that if you actually what was that? If you get a bit of like brushed paint thinner and you mix some grain pastel like that, there it tends to work quite well as well. You get this very nice weathering effect there, which I don't think a paintbrush can actually achieve, but when you paint it on though, but it actually does quite well. But yeah, and also as GW Shunter said, like Tamiya does, like weathering powders, they're also good as well. So yeah, I hope that helps.
Sometimes it's good to have the weathering so that it washes off, because sometimes if you're making a model or a prop, you want it to have a clean version and a weathered version.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there was a thing called gouache, which is like paint, and it's water. You can wash it off with water.
Never heard of that.
I gather they used it a lot during Series 4 when they had the dirty version of Scruffy and the clean version.
Right.
That's an example, and it was basically it's like a crayon, I think, and you just sort of.
Oh yeah, because Tamiya does those.
Didn't they do that with Smudger?
Probably. Oh, what, to make him green or just
make him green?
No, I don't know. I don't really know. I know that Smudger was done at the end of the shoot. Oops. But yeah, I'm not sure. I think it was just stickers,
or latex.
Latex.
Like latex mixed with paint mixed in latex there, so that when it dries, like it's easy to peel off. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have heard them do that. In fact, I was at the Bluebell Railway once when they were shooting a film, and they were painting the station in this stuff that you could peel off, which I thought was interesting.
All
But it
right.
was funny. This was in 2005. I don't know what the film was, but apparently one side of Horsted Keynes was going to be painted as London, and the other side was France or something like that. So they were painting the two sides of the station in two different colours, supposedly signifying two different countries, which I thought was funny. But I don't know what the film was. But yeah, no, I think it was like sticker. You know, it was sort of
Like a vinyl type sticker. Yeah.
vinyl, yeah. Big vinyl sheet.
That's no film, the Wind and the Willow special there.
Yeah, they shot the Wind and the Willows there, didn't they?
Yeah, for the Monty Python version.
I always wondered how
Yes.
the train chase and things. Like, I mean, you know, because they must have obviously had such permission to do the stunts they did there, and of course, the tender being in the bush and things. I often wonder how they.
I'd say they must have made like one in props or something.
Yeah, that's how I imagined it. But
Yeah. But that crash though, my God.
I know they made a lot of dummy props for one of the films. I think if you go to the Lavender Line, which isn't very far away, they've got some wheel sets, which are actually, you can pick them up. They're literally lightweight ones that they made out of foam and stuff, and they sort of textured them so that they look real.
All right.
And apparently they were for, is it Charles Dickens or something? I don't know. It was for a drama at the Bluebell. Anyway, when they'd finished shooting, someone who works at the Bluebell took them and just dumped them at the Lavender Line. But they're quite funny because they look realistic. But a lot of the time, that's what the film crews would do, is they'd make a lightweight dummy of these things. Like, was it Hollyoaks or one of those soap operas?
yeah, they did that.
Class 14. They made a complete Class 14 just to tip on its side. They made it just out of bits of junk.
Wow.
The things you learn.
Well, it just goes to show what you can do if you're in the power of the film industry. It's just a shame that they haven't built a nice full-size replica of an E2 for anything.
Yeah.
Well, it might be static, which isn't quite as good as the real thing.
Well, we know someone who was trying to.
What, a real one or a
real
working one or a static one?
Make a real live E2, but I think he was wanting to paint it in his own Thomas livery.
A full-size one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the one that was on.
You'd have to get a license. And I dare say a lot of the people probably wouldn't back the money if it was just going to be Thomas all the.
Got one pickup on.
Cool.
It would be a popular choice of engine to make, given the legacy the class has had with Thomas unintentionally. Because it wasn't a particularly important or famous type of engine. There were only 10 of them built, I think, 10 or 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
it's Thomas. That's why they like it so much.
but it's just because of the
fame.
Thomas the Tank Engine connection.
But there's some things I've seen with it I just find a bit over the top. Like they do things like, you know, Thomas has got a girlfriend who's an E2, or his mum's an E2 sort of thing. I just keep thinking.
That's not how trains work. They're usually built in a workshop.
Yeah.
So when they come to life or something, do they actually call the workman mummy?
No, they probably were human at one point before they would bio-fused.
Oh.
And
I think people think into the concept a bit too deeply.
they do.
Yeah, because sometimes it just kind of spoils the magic, really, or or as people say, like, you know, you've ruined my childhood.
Well, I used to do the same thing actually years ago with the. What do you mean the E2 thing or the?
Oh, I don't know. No, I was like, no, it's just something, anything in general, like, you know.
I mean, Kid 17, I thought was amazing.
It was pretty good, but it disturbed the shit out of me.
But the thing is, like, what I was going to say about before was, if you're going to be original, if you're going to be, I said this in the Sif podcast, if you're going to be original, don't do a remake of an episode or a narrating style that's been done. Do it for example, if you're going to do your own version of Thomas, do something original.
Yeah.
Don't do it how it's been done before. Do it completely. And I think Shed 17 did that. Beautifully.
Yeah.
Because it was completely outrageous. And it was done
Well,
it was animated in that Thomas style, like the figurines and things, and
Yeah, I was like, when one of the characters committed suicide, they actually made a joke of it, saying like, you should have seen the place, sawdust everywhere.
You should have seen the place. Sawdust everywhere. It took us days. I wonder if Paul was on Sif at one point. Because he just seemed to come out of nowhere. And he does know a lot about Thomas. As in, he knows a lot about it in the terms of how a Siffer would know.
Oh.
Okay, can I get one tank on successfully?
Yep, it's a bit long, really, but if I can get away with keeping the wire there, I won't have to faff about changing it.
Right. We'll stay on for another 5 minutes, guys, here, and then we're going to have to finish up now. It's just after 10:30 now.
Yeah.
See if we can get this running.
Yeah. I'll leave the camera on you now, Gav, here, just so you know.
If we do get it running, it's not going to have any power, because obviously there's no coupling rods yet.
Yeah. I'm just gonna finish up my bit for a second here before I go back to you here. Right, guys, this is pretty much how far I've got with the Station Master's house. Really, I'm still yet to get this fitted on here, but it's not really. It's just a basic build, really. So there's not really much detail, really. So because you're not really going to see the whole size and all on it there. So, but you're mostly going to be seeing the front of it mostly. So, but I'm currently like trying to get the roof and all planned and fitted on here. So that's what hopefully it'll look like when it's finished. Maybe more. I'll just need to try and work out how to get the roof and all to stay on. But that's how far I am with it here. So maybe next time I might maybe just be painting it, or might have something else though. But I don't know.
Well, I'm pleased I've at least got most of the brake rigging done. The only bits I haven't got on the bits I'll have to look at some screenshots for to get the these last two pieces on.
Yeah,
it should look something like that. I'm gonna hang that there. I don't know if you can see it very well.
Okay.
But,
yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
I've never actually, believe it or not, I've never actually done a brake rigging assembly before.
Neither have I really. So it's
yeah. I used to bother with that stuff until I just do the outside, don't do the inside or anything.
In Series 1, they didn't even put the brake rigging on this particular wagon.
Yeah.
They added it for Series 3. And at first, when I made this, I just saw some Series 1 photos, but I then later decided that if I was going to do replicas of Thomas stuff, I'd want to make it all circa Series 3, 4, or 5. So that's why I decided to put the brake rigging on, because they fitted it for Series 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, it's something. I mean, I'm really slow. I'm very slow at modelling. I'm not gonna lie.
Who's fast?
Well, I suppose it shouldn't really be a race, but I'm sure they probably had a bit more speed when they did the originals. They had power and speed, yeah.
Listen.
Oh, hey guys, look at this.
It needs a bit of honing, obviously. I haven't just got it going, but
Hey, awesome stuff, Gav.
I say it will need a tweak. It's always the same. Your first building, it's a bit ropey. Tell you what, a little bit of weight might help actually. One second. Oh shit. Wait there. Of course, it weighs nothing at the moment. Let's try that. Yeah, loads better.
Oh, that's awesome.
And it's not, considering it's had no running in, that's pretty smooth as well. No oil, no nothing.
Yeah.
That's a good start. Happy days.
Excellent stuff there, Gav.
Let's try and put the Percy body on.
Well done, mate.
I'll just put
plonk the Percy body on, see if it goes.
So, what basically what I'm doing with mine is I'm putting the tap filler caps kind of similar to how the E2 was done.
So I made a flunk here.
Oh, sorry.
I've got to adjust the pickups because I've put them too wide. It's not a problem. I can adjust them. I've put them too wide on the chassis, which means they're actually conflicting with a gap, touching the edge bits here.
Right.
Because the way I've done it. But I can sort that now. It's not a problem. But as you saw, that wasn't running too bad, and that's a pretty good start. So
Yeah.
I'm happy as a pig in a shit.
Well, that's good. Glad to see you around there.
I think the pig in shit.
Right, and just have it on Tom J's section right now. So we have Thomas next to the van. Looks very good, actually.
Well, yeah, it'd be nicer if I could get a lower angle, but unfortunately, my camera that's on my laptop, so I can't go any lower.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's fine. That's definitely that looks definitely really good, mate.
Let's get mine on the chassis quickly before we go.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you can see it like that, but yeah, this is a no gauge E2. Going to be Thomas tank when it's finished.
Nice one.
What I've done with the tanks is I've done it similar to how the E2s is, where it's next to the dome.
Yeah.
But I'm using circular ones instead of the ones that come in the kit.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of an oval rectangle shape, weren't they?
Hmm. I'll just finish mine. That's kind of how my buildings look like so far. I'm just like halfway through making the roof now, so that's how it's looking so far. hopefully it'll look a lot more better once it's finished. But that's where I am with it right now here. So, maybe next time when we sit there, it'll probably look a lot more better.
Okay.
Okay, guys, I think that'll probably do us now for Modeller's Corner. Just want to say thank you very much to Gavin and Tom Biddle for coming along here, as I said before.
Always.
And also a very big thank you to Thomas Jensky for coming along as well. And unfortunately, we were going to have another member of the Thomas Tank merch to be with us there, but unfortunately, he couldn't be here. So maybe next time we'll probably have him on.
I'll make sure he comes along next time.
Yeah, next time when we have we have you guys on, we'll definitely try and make sure he's on.
And thank you, Tom, for sharing your knowledge on Thomas.
Yes, definitely. It's a lot of interesting facts for both us and also to you folks at home there. So I hope you've been educated very well.
Pleasure. No, it's fascinating. I love it.
You always try to educate people on this stream as well. So that's been I think, especially for me, it's been a bonus. I mean,
yeah, because people. Like last time, we got messages from people saying this is actually quite educational. So I'm glad. Hopefully, if it is, then I'm glad we're doing a service then. So
I hope people have learned some ideas about chassis building. I'm not an expert by any means, but obviously you can see I can get them running.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because like I said, I think I said earlier on in the stream there, me and Gavin I was thinking about maybe doing another live stream video where it's just him and me, and he's basically teaching me through camera how to make up a chassis. So
I'd like that too, actually, Gavin. That's right.
Yeah, sure.
I've still got a lot of stuff to learn about chassis as well. Like
yeah,
my E2, for example, and my E1.
I mean, there's two things I would miss out. I wouldn't show you how to solder the frame square because obviously with this you don't need to. And also with this, I don't use like an actual like a spacing jig to actually solder things up properly. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Apart from that's about the same though.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay, we'll sign off now here, and thank you once again, guys, for tuning in to Modeller's Corner. Just to let you guys know, next week there's not going to be another Modeller's Corner, but the following week there might be one. We'll see what happens. But until then, thank you very much for joining in, and I'll see you guys soon. Have a good night.
Also, any of you guys in the Reading?
Sorry?
Was it finished?
No, I haven't finished yet. Well, what's up?
Anyone in Reading tomorrow, come to Rivermead Leisure Centre. There'll be a no-gauge show, and I'll be there.
Yeah, there'll be a model railway show in Reading. Tom Biddle will be there showing his O-gauge Thomas. So if you're in the area, pop down and see him.
On Sunday?
I don't know about Sunday, but I think it's mostly Saturday.
Okay. All right, guys. Take care and see you soon.